Coming up is Sunday Night Football. The Lions and the Packers. Let's join Mike Patrick and the crew.
We don't know when a brilliant career will come to an end for Brett Favre, but we do know this. Number 4 at Lambeau Field is always special. Ever in the NFL's most storied arena. And in spite of the record, in spite of the cold, it is a sellout crowd because this is football's perfect stage for a legendary performer. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick. It's great to have you with us. At 2-10, the Packers are struggling through one of the worst seasons they have ever had. Injuries have robbed their offense of much of its firepower, and turnovers have just killed them in close games. Make no mistake, Brett Favre is still an incredible talent, a Hall of Famer in waiting. But, Joe, it's also no mistake that this year has not been vintage Brett.
It really has not, Mike. There's no denying that Brett Favre is struggling. As a matter of fact, he leads the league in interceptions with 21 and probably leads the league in bruises after the game against Chicago last week. He's also had to play without his top wide receiver and his 2 running backs. He admittedly said he's tried to put too much on his shoulder. But don't expect Brett Favre to get cautious at any point. He's a gunslinger, and he said simply, I can't change who I am. And you know what, Mike? We don't want him to change who he is. Tonight he gets a chance to put another notch in that gun.
All right, thanks, Joe. The Lions, of course, have been a major disappointment this year. All those #1 draft choices, and the offense still can't get it done. Paul, at 4-8, this is not what Jeff Garcia signed up for when he came to Detroit.
No, it isn't, Mike. And Jeff Garcia had a storied career in San Francisco. He went to 3 Pro Bowls. This year, he came to Detroit to be with his old coach, Steve Mariucci. Unfortunately, Mariucci got fired 2 weeks ago. Due to injuries and an inconsistent offense, it has not been a great year for Garcia. We were talking to him yesterday. I said, you know, in the last 4 games, what would you like to accomplish with this team? He said, I want these guys to battle every down. I want them to complete every single play. But most of all, I want these guys to have some fun. And wouldn't it be a feather in Jeff Garcia's cap tonight if he beat Brett Favre, the Green Bay Packers, here at Lambeau Field?
That it would, Paul. And when we come back, Susie with Brett Favre on this season and his future.
Later tonight, we'll crown our Sunday stud. Here's your chance to predict the stud for next weekend's matchups. Throughout the week, log on to ESPN.com and cast your vote. You could win an all-new 2007 GMC Yukon.
The game is always on, and the Bud Light is just right.
Welcome back to Lambeau Field, where for the last 14 seasons, Brett Favre has had his team at least in playoff contention. but not this season. So how's he handling it? Well, consider what he and his wife Deanna have been through in just the last 2 years. Her conquering cancer, the death of her brother and Brett's dad, and the family being uprooted by Hurricane Katrina. It helped put football in the proper perspective.
This is the first for me, but I hate to say it, but if you play long enough, I guess that's one of the perks of playing a long time, is you'll see just about everything. Never thought I'd see us being 2-10, but you know, I never thought I'd win MVP either, and I won 3. And so if I'm willing to take the good, I got to be willing to take the bad, as hard as that may be. And I've tried to, you know, I know I can say this, and Deanna and I have talked about this. It sure ain't as bad as it has been, what we've had to deal with off the field, you know, or what other people have to deal with sometimes. It's just football. It's big in Green Bay, it's big in Wisconsin. People love it here, understandably so. It's got a lot of history and tradition, but there'll be another season next year. There'll be another season the year after that. At some point, there'll be another quarterback in Green Bay. Life goes on. Bart Starr, as great as he was, life goes on, you know, and it will go on for Brett Favre. And this is just another season, not a good one, but it's another season. And people at some point will forget and think of a career as opposed to a season. And I have to do that as well.
As for retirement, Brett told me he has some soul searching to do. He admits he doesn't know if he'll ever be totally committed to one decision or the other, yet he realizes it wouldn't be fair to anyone to wait until the last minute to decide. Mike, the only thing he is sure of, the decision will not be based on this season.
Thank you, Susie. ESPN presents Visa Skycam, innovative technology that gives us a unique angle no other single camera in the world can achieve. And we're very proud to bring it to you every Sunday night. We'll be back in Green Bay, the Lions and the Packers after this. It is a balmy 14 degrees at game time with an 8-mile-an-hour wind. That means the wind chill is +5. It's going to get worse with a chance of flurries. Just what they like here in Green Bay.
You say that with such a sly grin.
You know, everybody you meet outside, they're happy. They are, well, there's a reason for that, too.
It also looks like we have wandered into the world's largest duck blind. The Lions get the ball first. R.W. McQuarters from the 9. And McQuarters across the 30. For the Lions up front, Damien Woody is their best player, acquired last year as a free agent from the Patriots. With all their number ones at wideout, no one has caught more passes than an unknown free agent, Scotty Vines. And Kevin Jones, another number 1 pick, is the key to the running game, but he is only averaging 3.3 yards a carry this year. Schlesinger is the blocking back. And the first play whistled dead. And it will go against Detroit.
False start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Mike Carey, one of the best referees in football, all bundled up this evening.
It's just not one of those things that the Detroit Lions need to have happen to them in a hostile environment, a struggling football team. First play, you commit a penalty. Now you're 1st and 15 and have to change the calls.
So back them up inside the 27-yard line. Sean Bryson has checked in at running back. And that goes nowhere as the Packers, who have improved so much on defense under Jim Bates, throw them back. That improved 2nd and 14. Empty backfield for Garcia and that West Coast offense. He unloads trying to hit Scotty Fines downfield, but he is covered stride for stride by Ahmad Carroll.
Jeff Garcia has really won the job by default. When Dick Jauron took over for Steve Mariucci a week ago, he decided that Jeff Garcia would give him his best chance to win. And the one thing that you saw them take a shot at doing, they haven't done much all year, and that's throw the ball up the field. With receivers at 6'2" and 6'3", you have to do it more than just this one time.
Joey Harrington, who you saw their first-round draft choice 4 years ago, sitting on the bench in favor of Garcia, who is better at this West Coast offense. And there's Vines wide open over the middle on a blown coverage, and Scotty Vines to midfield. Here's an undrafted free agent out of Wyoming. That was his 32nd catch. He's got more grabs than all of the #1 draft picks.
Well, Jeff Garcia, they said it has the best chance for them to win. Look at this play. Vines comes over the middle, and there are 2 linebackers standing there, and nobody is around him. That was Nick Barnett, number 56, that didn't cover him coming across.
People seem to forget how good Jeff Garcia was in San Francisco. He set club records, and he was following 2 guys in Montana and Young, who were pretty good quarterbacks in their day. Here's a big run off the right side by Jones, and Kevin Jones inside the 10.
Boy, they missed Kevin Jones the last week or so. He's had a thigh problem, and now he's back to full strength. And you see what happens when he has this kind of speed. Outside, just set up and go. It's a one cut and go. Now he turns the shoulders upfield, and he runs by and away from everyone.
40-yard carry for Kevin Jones, his longest of the year.
And they need him to be able to establish a running game to take the pressure off of Jeff Garcia.
They are just inside the 10, so it's 1st and goal. Jones. Al Harris waiting for him, but he picks up 5 yards.
Well, what's happening with the outside? You saw it twice now that Kevin Jones went to his right. He went to the end and then bounced it to the outside. What's happening is the defensive ends are getting caught inside. The linebacker has to get over there. Now watch on the right-hand side of your screen. You see the defensive end go down? Look where the linebacker is. He's sitting in the hole. That's Barnett. He's sitting in the hole waiting. He's got to attack that hole and make sure there's no place for Jones to run.
2nd and goal from the 5. Jones again. Driving the Lions indicate touchdown. Nothing from the officials yet. And they're going to mark him just short of the goal line.
This is when you see the movement by that offensive line. Now you see Jones. He sees the hole right off tackle is plugged. So he bounces it back into the inside. And Kevin Jones, Joe, you said they're glad to have him back. He's down.
Kevin Jones is the injured Lion. We will check on him when we come back. Back in Green Bay, where Kevin Jones has been injured, and this is ugly.
See where his right arm gets caught under Damien Woody's, and Woody falls on his arm. Amazingly, he went off and didn't look like it was too serious.
3rd and goal. Arto's Pinner comes in and tries to hit the middle. He's a 232-pound running back out of Kentucky, and he didn't get an inch.
Now, if you're the Detroit Lions here, I think you go for it. I really do. You're down. You got him pinned in. I think you just go for it.
Watch Pinner. You want to see a guy hit a wall? Watch this. Boom. And he didn't move. Once he hit the defensive line, Barnett is there. Once he hits it, that was it. There was no movement forward.
Jason Hanson will come on for what is basically an extra point. Will qualify as a 19-yard field goal attempt. Hanson has missed once in his career at Lambeau Field. (3-0) Detroit on its opening drive. Now it will be Brett Favre's turn.
ESPN Sunday Night Football, brought to you by smooth and refreshing Bud Light. Great taste, great times. Best Buy, thousands of possibilities. Get yours. MasterCard. There's some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And GMC trucks and SUVs. We are professional grade.
Yeah, they're used to cold temperatures in Green Bay, but this was ridiculous. 46 below zero during the Ice Bowl in 1967.
Would you concede that that was cold?
Oh, yeah. And there they are, Paul, as you predicted.
The nuts. The squirrels are out here. Be careful.
Hansen to kick to Ahmad Carroll, who waits at his 6. Carroll runs up, crosses the 20, stopped at the 29-yard line. Brett Favre on an Iron Man streak, now starting in his 218th consecutive ball game. That is absolutely remarkable that somebody could play that kind of a stretch. It's almost 15 years straight that he started every game.
With a chin strap with one buckle on each side. There aren't many of those left either, folks.
They'll start in the eye with 2 wide receivers, and Samkon Gatto gets the first carry, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Green Bay's offensive line lost both starting guards this year, but got a boost with the return of Mike Flanagan, a terrific center. Without the injured Javon Walker, Donald Driver is the passing target. He's in the NFL's top 10 in catches and yards. And with 9 passing yards, Brett Favre will have 3,000 for the 14th time. Nobody else has ever done that. Dan Marino is the other player with 13. Blitz coming. Favre has the ball knocked away. They hold him back, and the Lions have it at the 18-yard line. James Davis came through and got the football.
When really Brett Favre has the ball fall out of his hands, Paul.
Yeah, his hands are cold, and the ball comes. James Davis does come in. Okay, number 52. He hits. Now look at the ball. He doesn't hit Favre. He hits the blocking back up front, Gato. And the ball comes out of Favre's hands. That's just, he slips out of his hands. That's a fumble.
Now, Brett Favre hurt his hands last week against Chicago. You see the shininess around his index finger. I don't believe that had anything to do with it. That's just great individual effort by James Davis.
And when the ball gets that cold, it's very slick.
Oh, yeah.
Pinner. And Pinner stopped at the line of scrimmage. Pinner with 60 carries this year, as it has been a lot of running back by committee with Kevin Jones injured at times. He and Bryson have gotten a lot of carries.
It must be, well, you did. It must be difficult for a quarterback that every time he turns around, he looks in the backfield, he's got a different guy.
Well, it is a little bit difficult, but you really want to focus on what's down the field more than what's around you. Gatto did a nice job of picking up the blitz. Ball just fell out of Brett's hand.
Garcia, deep drop for him, goes out to Pinner in the flat. Pinner trying to get the first down, taken out of bounds at the 10. Brady Papinga, the rookie linebacker, made the stop. Let's go to Susie.
Mike, in an effort to get his team ready for the cold, Dick Duron went to the extremes. They pumped freezing cold air into their field house. They dropped it to 22 degrees. He told us a lot of his young guys have never played in conditions like this. He wanted them to get used to playing in their gear, to be focused in the cold. The message, you just got to play through it.
Well, Susie, that's what we did in Paul's room the other night. Opened all the windows, got real cold in there. Bryson will have the first down at the 5. Another first and goal situation for the Detroit Lions.
Green Bay has a very young secondary. Got Roy Manning, Michael Montgomery, got rookies playing. Of course, Nick Barnett having the best year he's had. And should be a disciplined defensive front, and they have to coordinate to make sure that the tackles and ends are in the right position. The Lions have done a nice job cutting back against the grain with a lot of these runs in this first quarter.
Well, and now Green Bay has to take a timeout because they were trying to get Papinga on the field and couldn't do it in time, so they burned a timeout on defense. Who is today's Sunday stud? How about Drew Bledsoe? Passed for 332 and 3. Tom Brady passed for almost as many yards. Rudy Johnson. And we'll interrupt for a second. Go back to the play, which gets them inside the 5 to about the 3.5-yard line. Pinner got another carry there.
You know, I wouldn't run up in there where Grady Jackson is.
Why?
Because there's no room up there.
I had to ask.
Number 75, Grady Jackson, there is no room there. Like there's no room in the inn. There's no room there. Hello, Grady. It's a compliment, friend.
He is the immovable object.
Oh, man, he's something in that middle.
He's been playing with chronically bad knees and a hip injury. And now Garcia is going to burn a timeout. We'll be back in a minute. Back in Green Bay, where the Lions lead the Packers 3-0 and have a 3rd and goal at the Green Bay 4-yard line in the first quarter.
A couple different ways you can go here. You can get, you know, Roy Williams. You can take a shot with him against Al Harris, but they match up pretty well. I like Marcus Pollard, their tight end.
Empty backfield. Comes the blitz. Garcia throws it away.
Boy, what a great job blitzing that time. Lennon, number 53, and he's starting tonight. He comes off of that left linebacker spot. Watch to the top of your screen. Here he comes. Nobody blocks Lennon. Garcia doesn't have a chance except to throw the ball away, and he does the proper thing.
Boy, that's a sellout blitz. I mean, it's man-to-man coverage.
When you put 5 guys out like that, you know that one guy's coming free. Lennon just did a nice job of getting in the way of Garcia's vision.
Same formation. No motion. They give it on the handoff. And Garcia watches Nick Barnett just swallow up the running back, Sean Bryson.
Well, you know, you really got to love a blitz like this on the goal line because you really have to have a heady person doing it. Look at Barnett. He comes up. He sees Garcia, but the first thing that he checks is the running back. I got him first. And then he's got the ball, so I get him.
They just don't have enough people to block it. That's a great call by Jim Bates, their defensive coordinator.
Now Hansen with another chip shot field goal. And it's 6-0. So Green Bay putting a huge hole by the turnover, and they only allow a field goal. They're down 6-0.
You know what? Roy Williams told us yesterday. He comes in and he sits down in our meeting, and he's a wide receiver number 11. And the first thing that really came out of his mouth is, we cannot win unless we can run the ball. We can't win with field goals. Now they've been down there twice, and they have 2 field goals. That's it.
Well, this whole football team has had a problem understanding what it's taken to win, and it's been there since Matt Millen has really taken over. The most wins they've had is 6. And each year it's been less and less and less. It's a football team that's made up of a lot of young players. 18 of them have 3 years experience or less. Dick Jauron would love the opportunity to get a chance to grow with them. And Matt Millen's record just hasn't been very, very good. You look at the wins. I mean, it's 20-56 in 5 seasons. Ultimately, you're judged by how you win in this league. And he's the one that's choosing the coaches.
Well, you know, Mike, the other thing, too, is Detroit was inside the Green Bay's 5-yard line. They had 5 snaps inside the 5-yard line. They came out with 6 points.
What was really odd when Steve Mariucci was fired by Matt Millen, Matt said, we have 5 weeks left to develop our younger players, and that one of those guys would be Joey Harrington, the quarterback. And the first thing that Dick Jauron did was say, Jeff Garcia gives us the best chance to win. He's the guy who's playing. So there's a disconnect there somewhere. Jauron is trying to win now. Matt Millen is talking about next year. Monday night, electrifying Michael Vick and the Falcons host the Saints on Monday Night Football, 9 Eastern on ABC.
Get to see Michael Vick next week against the Chicago Bears, who the Pittsburgh Steelers did a heck of a job against them today. Steelers still in that hunt for a wild card.
How about your boy Jerome Bettis, Notre Dame?
100 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Wasn't he special?
Perfect weather for Jerome.
He's a mutter.
Snowy, muddy.
Samkon Gatto, who has become a local hero here, takes it out to the 42-yard line. Here's a kid who went to Liberty University, 1AA, started 2 games in his career. He was the 3rd team tailback at Liberty.
Played behind Eugene Goodman and Dre Barnes. I don't think either one of them are working in the NFL at this point.
He is the 5th running back to start at tailback this year for the Green Bay Packers. And Gatto taken down. He's picked up 9 yards in the last 2 runs. This young man, born in Nigeria, did not move to the United States until he was 9 years old in 1991. Went on to play high school football in Columbia, South Carolina, and won 2 All-State awards. Then to Liberty University, Division I AA. 2005, he was signed by the Chiefs, an undrafted free agent, waived by them, signed to the Packers practice squad. When all these other guys got hurt, he was elevated. And there's his mother, Grace, here to watch this young man play football. And Favre delivers a strike for a first down. Green Bay goes into Detroit territory for the first time. Robert Ferguson showing those good hands on a 10-yard bullet, and Brett Favre still gets that baby out there in a hurry.
Well, wait a minute. You're talking about a 6-degree night, and this pass is thrown, and this pass is cut. Look at the hands. Ferguson with that catch. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Well, you know, we were down on the field, Paul. It's not that bad down there, is it?
Oh, yeah. I went down twice the second time to get my ears.
And Brett Favre has now hit 3,000 yards for the 14th season in the history of the NFL. Nobody else has ever done it. Congratulations to Brett Favre on another record. And Andre Thurman makes a rare catch, only his 4th of the year. R.W. McQuarters on defense. And who did he beat with this record? Dan Marino, who had 13 in his remarkable career.
Dan Marino's one of the guys who would be the first one to say, you know, records are to be broken, but it's hard to break Dan Marino's record. You got to be around.
That's why he can say that.
Yeah, you got to be around a long time.
I think there's a difference in Green Bay and Miami, too, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Tonight it's about 80 degrees. Fake the draw to Gatto and then throw it to him out of the backfield. This young man has done absolutely everything since coming on to play. Wally Rayner makes the tackle. Samkon Gatto, I mean, he works so hard. He is such a pleasant, intelligent kid who was planning on going to medical school. He says it's the biggest thrill in his life because every play he stands next to Brett Favre in the huddle, and he's more concerned about pass blocking than he is anything else because he said, I'm not going to be the guy that gets this man hurt. He's a neat kid. Packers on the move at the Lions' 27-yard line. Gatto cuts it back inside, picks up 3. Let's check in with Susie.
Well, Mike, I wondered about Gatto, that if you're the 3rd string at Liberty, why would you pursue the NFL? And he said the question isn't why, it's why not? Because it almost fell into his lap. He said he didn't actively pursue the NFL. It was more of a passive pursuit. And he really didn't look for an agent or have coaches put in a good word for him. The opportunity presented itself, and he figured med school's always going to be there, but not the NFL.
When we asked Mike Sherman, Susie, you know, what's the deal? He was the 3rd string tailback. He says, yeah, we got to go find a first 2. Favre for the end zone, double coverage, actually triple coverage, and Ferguson can't get there. The fans think he was cut off on their route.
Well, now that's one of the problems that Brett Favre runs into. That was a gunslinger throw. If he had Javon Walker, which he lost in the first game against Detroit, he would throw it up a little bit short and let him go make a play. Here he pumps to the left, looks, just sets and throws. There's no way Robert Ferguson is anywhere near open. There are 2 defenders right next to him, and it's one of those throws that Brett just tries to make sometime. He's got to be smarter the closer he gets to scoring territory.
4-man rush. Good Lions front line there. Henderson gets the ball out of the backfield, gets to the 18. He's going to be about a yard shy as the middle linebacker Earl Holmes, the 10-year veteran, made the tackle. Crowd wants him to go for it, but Mike Sherman is going to send on the field goal team.
Well, you know, you won 2 games. You're at home. The crowd wants you to go for it. I mean, this isn't what Sherman would do, but why not go for it?
Well, because you're trying to build something over these 4 games. You're not just going out there and going through the motions. You're trying to win football games. It's early in the game. You make the right decision.
Longwell from 36 yards. And the Packers are on the board.
That's why you kick it.
Yeah. Wrong.
You riverboat gambler, you.
(6-3) so far, a battle of field goals in the first quarter in Lambeau Field. They have done such a magnificent job with the reconstruction of this stadium.
Is there a ring to Lambeau Field?
Yes.
No. What a wonderful place this is. And every announcer I've ever heard has ever done a game here, and every player has ever played it, that's what they talk about, is Lambeau Field. If you've never been here, you ought to try it once, but do it in like June.
Come to an exhibition game. R.W. McQuarters. 40. McQuarters midfield. It's a foot race to the 17-yard line.
Nick Collins caught him from behind. Well, he had to make some moves, but Nick Collins had an angle on him and got him.
R.W. McQuarters, a one-time Pro Bowl return man.
Well, watch him hit this seam right here. Once he sees it, he's gone. Now, the only guy who has to juke is the kicker. When he does that, now here comes Collins on the outside. Look at 36. He's got the angle on him. McQuarters is actually going down.
They always talk about getting up as close to the wedge as you can, so as soon as the blocks are set, you can break off of them, and that's exactly what he did.
The Lions offense has been here time after time. Deep in Green Bay territory. So far, they have 2 field goals to show for it.
So far, the Lions look like a team that has won 4 games. I mean, when you think of the problems that the Lions have had, they're 4-8. The Packers are 2-10. When you look at the records, and it's really doesn't jump out at you. And then you look at the field position for the starts of these teams, and the Lions have certainly had a big advantage in that area.
And they don't need any more field goals. They need some touchdowns.
Absolutely. Mike Sherman and Jim Bates' defense being put to the test. Garcia with time to the corner, incomplete, but there's a flag.
That ball was intended for Charles Rogers, who's had a very difficult time getting on the field since coming back from his suspension.
Ahmad Carroll had a man-to-man.
Before the pass, holding, defense number 28. It's a 5-yard penalty, automatic.
Ahmad Carroll in his second year has just been killed by penalties. He's been called for so many of them. Very physical corner.
And Charles Rogers has been sat by Dick Jauron, or deactivated, the last 2 weeks after coming back from the suspension. And he said it's very difficult to try and work yourself back up the food chain when you're really not practicing much. And the only reason he's there is because Eddie Drummond, their return man and 5th receiver, is down.
Pinner inside the 10, near the 7-yard line. Rogers, of course, with a storied career at Michigan State, was a first-round draft choice, number 2 overall. And now the Lions are trying to get back most of the bonus they paid him because of his substance abuse suspension. They want more than $10 million back out of the $14 million they gave him. It was in his contract.
$10 million, huh?
Yes, sir.
Of the 14.
Yeah.
Pinner again trying to get to the outside. Blockers in front. Takes it down to the 4. They need to reach the 1 for a first down. Paris Lennon.
I think this is a very critical drive for the Detroit Lions. We've talked about them trying to establish a winning attitude, and something Dick Duran mentioned to us last night. It's the thing that this team has not done. It hasn't finished. Well, finish has to do with the end of the game, but it also has to do with finishing drives. And they've had opportunities to put sevens on the board, and they haven't been able to finish in that area.
Joe, this is the sixth play that they've had inside the 5-yard line.
Garcia, Williams, bobbled it. Touchdown.
Boy, what a catch.
That was. Tipped it up in the air to himself, touched the toes, and appeared to have possession.
Incredible talent. And Al Harris wants this to be challenged. Garcia hangs it in a perfect spot. Al Harris turns around to make a play, but the ball is thrown too high. I don't know. It's going to be interesting once they look at it.
Well,
Did you see the bobble
One,
at the end?
Two.
Now, wait a minute. Does he have control of the ball? And that ball hits the ground. But if he rolls over with control of the ball, this is a catch.
This is the angle
Boom,
you get a chance
boom.
to look at it.
He gets both feet down. He's got the ball hits the ground, but he doesn't lose the ball. He turns around with the ball in his hand. That's a catch.
Let me disagree for this reason. When the ball came up to his helmet, we had one shot already. You can see the ball move when it came up there. One of his feet had already left the
ruling
ground.
on the field is that the receiver got 2 feet down inbounds with possession. It's being challenged by Green Bay.
Well, there's no question that there was going to be challenged.
Well, and you disagree with already?
I do.
Okay, you can, but I'm saying it's a catch.
1, 2, other foot's down.
Watch
He's
possession.
got the ball.
I think
All
he
right,
has.
Now he goes down. The ball hits the ground, but he doesn't lose the ball. And that is one of the keys, that he doesn't lose the ball. It's a catch.
Mike's
Watch
talking
this,
about
son.
right here on his helmet.
Well, he hasn't put his feet down yet. Now his right foot's down, his left foot's down. It doesn't matter if he's got it up against his helmet. He has control of the football.
If he does, it's a catch.
Well, hey, we don't start backing off now, pal.
What's amazing is really just how good this guy is. He's knocked the ball up in the air, and what he's doing is he's looking down at the sidelines to see if he gets his feet in.
His right foot, I'm telling you, his right foot is off the ground when he gets possession.
1, 2, the ball's up
Watch
against
it
his
come
helmet.
up.
No,
No, it's not.
no,
I'm sorry, it's his left foot.
Well, it's not. It's not either one of them.
we disagree with you. Roy Williams enlightened us in an incredible way when we had a chance to sit with him. Here's a young man who was a #1 pick in '04, came into the league, thought it was a 12-3 league, which means you went to work at 12 o'clock, you were finished at 3 o'clock, you didn't have to do a lot of work after that. He found out that there's a lot more to it. But also, one of the things that I question about this wide receiving core is you have 3 #1s as wide receivers, and Scotty Vines, who was a basketball player. You have no veteran leadership to teach these young guys how to study, and that was brought up to us by Roy Williams. He said he's looking for a mentor.
I'll tell you what was interesting what he said, too, that when he was a junior, the reason he didn't come out, they said he would be the #2 or #3 pick in the draft. He said, wait a minute, I'm going back. I want to be the #1 player taken in the draft, and that's why he went back for his senior year. That's incredible.
What I don't understand, if you think you need a mentor as a young player, they've got Marcus Pollard, the tight end, who's an 11-year veteran. If you can't find one on your own team, go somewhere else. Find somebody. If you're that hungry to learn, go learn.
Mike, but you still, I understand what you're saying, but I can tell you as a player, if there is someone lining up in front of you, showing you how to run routes, showing you how to look at film, showing you how to study on your team that plays that position, it's much easier to grow and get better. He doesn't have anybody to help him.
Well, of course it's much easier, but every position doesn't have a leader.
After reviewing the play, the receiver bobbled the ball, but before he got 2 feet down, the right foot dragged with control, maintained control out of bounds.
Touchdown.
Score is good.
Hello. I couldn't have explained it any better. I tried to tell you. Okay, here it comes. Look at this. Here it is. The ball's up in the air. Here's where the bobbling is. And you're right there. But when he brings that ball in, now he has control. It's against his helmet. And when he hits the ground, the ball hits, but he maintains control, which is part of the whole deal, and it's a touchdown.
I bow to greater wisdom, and boy, it hurts to say that.
You talking about me?
Unfortunately, I am. That's why it hurt.
Hey, I don't get many right.
Yes, you did.
You didn't jump in.
I did. I agree with you.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
It is Christmas time.
It's the Christmas miracle we've all been waiting for. Hanson with the extra point. Detroit takes the lead on a very cold and silly night in Green Bay. Something special. Most exciting running back I ever saw, Barry Sanders.
What a night that was at the Pontiac Dome, and to see him on the turf be able just to make people stop and stare and watch him go by him. And of course the Tampa Bay Bucks had their creamsicle uniforms at that time too.
And never got him dirty playing against Barry. Ahmad Carroll is deep as the Packers will get the ball back. Runs up to the 14, gets a handle on it. Across the 30 and then smacked down as he got to the 33.
You know, Mike, one of the things about Barry Sanders that every time we looked at him, you take a look at his numbers, are just incredible.
His average per season was better than Jim Brown. Of course, he played 16-game seasons most of the time compared to what Brown had only 14-game seasons. But he was just a remarkable running back, inducted into the Hall of Fame 2004. Quit before his time, certainly.
No question about that.
Samkon Gatto, good blocking up front, and Gatto up to the 36-yard line.
You know, the one thing other about Barry Sanders, Joe, that every time that we did a game and we watched him, it was you just always had the feeling that every time he touched it, he could go the distance. He had just, I mean, knew vision was unbelievable. He could see the hole. The funny part about it is every defensive player we ever talked to said, hey, just wait home. He'll come back.
He was a little bit like Walter Payton, I think, because when the Bears struggled, Walter Payton still got his numbers and everybody focused on stopping him. It's the same thing with Barry Sanders. You knew that that was the Lions offense, and if you could contain him, you could beat him.
We've reached the end of the first quarter. The Lions on top of the Packers, 13-3.
Tomorrow at 11.
Great night for football tonight. Lambeau Field, Brett Favre. Woo!
Boy, you got to love football and want to play in this weather. And Roy Williams is a superb talent, and he gets the first touchdown of the ball game on a great catch. And makes the Lambeau leap as well.
Well, the Green Bay Packer people caught him and threw him back.
I'm still impressed with the way that he had the ball and was working with it and still looked down to see where the end line was to get his feet in. That was impressive.
Favre takes over and has them in a 2nd and 6 at the 36. Gatto. Very close to the first down. Let's check in with Susie.
Well, Mike, we all love the joy that Brett Favre plays the game with, and you have to wonder, where's the joy in 2 and 10? But he insists nobody loves competing more than he does. He loves competing in practice. He loves being out here against the opposing defense. He loves throwing touchdowns at Lambeau Field. He said no matter what, that's where he still finds the joy.
Susie, he is just so much fun to be around, so much fun to talk to. And it's going to be a very, very sad day for all of us when he's not in this business anymore.
Well, he's coming back. I'm telling you right now, he's coming back next year.
Gatto picking his way through the defense, takes it up to the 49.
Going back to what Susie just said, it isn't just in a game, but it's everything that has to do with football. There he is coming out onto the field in pregame, and he's throwing these deep balls, just winging it around. Evidently, it wasn't exactly a spiral. He shot that one out. They tried to give him a glove. Evidently, they gave him too small a glove. His hand looks like it's been through a hamburger grinder, too. I mean, that right hand is beat up. It doesn't bother him.
Got an incredible sense of humor. It's his 100th game at Lambeau Field, the most of any player. Dumps that one underneath, and it's caught by Donald Lee, the tight end, He'll get a lot more playing time tonight along with David Martin because Bubba Franks is injured again, and Dre Bly was in on the tackle.
And it's very important that the Green Bay Packers continue to run the football. When I talked to Tom Rossley, their offensive coordinator, he said, our identity is a running football team, and then we can run our play passes and our boots off of it. But with all the injuries we've had to the running backs, we haven't really had a chance to establish that.
And with Donald Driver as the primary passing target, without Javon Walker, they have to be able to run the ball. Henderson, the veteran fullback, close to another first down at the Lions 41. Wally Rayner, who is playing for the injured Boss Bailey, makes the tackle. Remember, they are on their 5th running back. They lost Green, Walker, and Franks. Walker and Franks being the tight end and their top receiver. And these are the numbers they put up a year ago. 26 scores last year absent from your offense, and Brett Favre has been put in the situation where, yeah, you can play it safe, maybe keep it close, maybe not be embarrassed, or you can go out and take the chances he always does and try to win.
You ever heard him complain?
No, sir.
Ever? I have never.
And around Chapman. Nice cut to get something out of it. Defense pretty well by the Lions.
Well, the Lions were up in a Corey Redding, number 70, excuse me, Dan Wilkinson, number 72. They were up on the outside. And I'll tell you what happens here is Chapman, just take a look what he does. He saves a loss right here. He sees the two big guys in the white shirts. He cuts right back to the inside and picked up 3 yards on the play.
And Dan Wilkinson is in his 12th year. He and Sean Rogers, the two interior tackles, really matched up well in the first game when the Packers were trying to adjust to 2 of their veteran guards leading.
Rodgers is a wonderful player who's going to be an anchor for that line for a long, long time. Brett Favre operating the offense right now. That pass was complete to Martin. The way he operates the 2-minute drill, he says, just move the chains.
Yeah, but this isn't a 2-minute, and you watch. He is not the most patient person in the world. They've got a 3rd and short. I think they'll pick up the first down, and I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to take a shot with the next play after if they do make the first down.
Well, Kevin Berry, number 71, comes in as an additional blocker up front.
He's a tight end, and he has to report, and he's been in on about 10 plays so far.
Gatto picks his way and should have the first down. Forward momentum gets him to about the 30.5. He needed the 31 for a first down.
And Sam Gatto has done a better job with every game. When you talk to Mike Sherman, he talks about his vision being better, his feel for the holes, his patience. And Mike Sherman isn't sure that this guy really is the answer or can play, but he can.
Well, he said, I'm not sure he's a bona fide running back in the NFL yet. And Sam Gatto took that to mean, you know, he's really doing me a favor. He's not putting a lot of pressure on me to perform, and I don't know whether I'm a bona fide running back in this league or not.
I was impressed with his confidence, though, when we asked him about his pass blocking, because that is something he wanted to work on. He said, you mean on a scale from 1 to 10? I said, yeah. He said, a 7. And I think that's pretty impressive, because he just doesn't want anything to happen to Brett. You got to go for it.
Inches short.
You have to go for it. It's cold. You're probably at the outer range of Ryan Longwell's field goal abilities on a cold night like this.
It would be about a 50-yarder from here.
And I watched him kick in warm-ups, and it wasn't easy getting it that far.
Paul, you were talking earlier about how cold the ball is and how hard it is to kick in weather like this.
You know, especially when you're a kicker and you're standing on the sidelines and, you know, for an hour and a half, your foot's frozen, and that ball is like a rock. I'll tell you what. Lowell's very happy that they're not trying a field goal.
Out of the eye. Leach is in as the blocker. Gatto takes it outside to the 21-yard line.
Now, Mike, I'm going to tell you, he's a bona fide runner in the National Football League, because I'll tell you what he just did. Samkon Gatto, the play was called right off tackle. Watch him move. Watch him adjust. His feet back to the outside. He adjusts to the block, and now he picks up the first down. Watch his feet adjust. Boom, there. Now back out to the outside. Now inside again, follows his blocker. There aren't many backs that do more than that, you know.
That's pretty good.
Not a bad average, 4.2 yards per carry.
And now getting his first chance to run tonight, Tony Fisher, who had a chance to start earlier in the year before they settled on Gatto.
I think Samcon Gatto is now not in awe of standing next to Brett Favre all the time.
I think Brett's a little bit in awe standing next to Samcon. As a matter of fact, he's tickled to have a running back like him next to him.
You bet he is. This guy, I mean, you talk about a young man that will just do anything you ask him to do to get better and to help his team.
He is a charming and humble young man, and you just hope he has continued success. Maybe a yard for Fisher, and there's a flag down at the end of the play as McQuarters came up to make a stop along with middle linebacker Earl Holmes.
Illegal block in the back. And the offense, number 89. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Penalty on Robert Ferguson.
Wide receivers trying to block. They're just not used to doing that. And what happens is when you come down in motion and you think you want to seal the end, all the linebackers do is turn their back to you, and you wind up getting a penalty. It's hard for them not to try and hit somebody, but it seems like they always wind up blocking backers in the back.
And you have to have blocking from wide receivers to make the running game go. You'll never get a big play without it.
Detroit substituting.
Thurman comes in as the third wide receiver along with Chapman. Now they have 4 and an empty backfield as Fisher goes out. Favre looks, throws over the middle, and it looked like Ferguson stopped his pattern there. Let's go to Chris Berman for a SportsCenter 30 at 30 update.
All right, Michael, gang, good evening. Of course, you know by now the Indianapolis Colts, by beating Jacksonville by 8, secure home field advantage through the playoffs in the AFC. Oh, by the way, 4th team ever to go 13-0 out of the gates. According to the Boston Globe, the Boston Red Sox, Roger Clemens' first teams have expressed interest in, if he wants to play in 06, how about coming back to Fenway? We will see you at halftime with our fastest 3 minutes with our halftime heroes. We're talking football on a good day of pigskin, guys.
All right, Boomer, thanks. Third down here. Favre back to throw. Complete to the sideline, down to the 20 to the tight end David Martin. And this will get the field goal unit on.
And that, Mike, you're exactly right. Those 5 yards give you the opportunity to give Ryan Longwell a chance to be able to kick the field goal. Had he not picked it up and the pass was incomplete, probably would have been a lot more difficult decision. Certainly been a lot tougher kick.
They'll spot it at the 28, so it's a 38-yard field goal try. He's already hit from 36.
Impressive job by Detroit's defense there, shutting down that offense.
Block. Right back into the hands
B.J.
of Sander, the holder.
Well, you talk about how lucky this was. It comes right back to the holder.
This could have gone for 75 yards and a touchdown. It looked like Jared DeVries gets credit for the block. Right up the middle.
ESPN Sunday Night Football, brought to you by Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's forward. Toyota, moving forward. McDonald's. And Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
3-time NFL MVP tonight, making his 218th consecutive start. Detroit, after a great block of a field goal try, takes over at the 28-yard line, and Kevin Jones is back in the ball game after suffering what appeared to be a serious arm injury earlier in the ball
False start.
game.
Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty, it's still first down.
Kelly Butler, the starting right tackle. The Lions, with beneficiaries of great field position outside of that first drive, they have not had to do it on their own. Only a 13-yard drive the second time and under 20 the second time.
Well, last 14 plays, Detroit had the ball. They were inside the Packers 20. Kevin Jones is back in the ball game.
He'll get the carry. And Jones thrown back at the 25.
Well, here's how we lost Kevin Jones in the first series. Damian Woody, he gets his right arm caught under his left arm and under Damian Woody's at the goal line. Watch this. Here's his arm cut, and then Damian Woody falls on top of it. And here's the guy back in the ball game. That's unbelievable. It was an elbow injury.
Looked like a whole arm, shoulder, everything
man.
injury.
Jones 5 carries 47 yards. He broke a long one right at the start of the ball game. This pass complete underneath to Marcus Pollard. Tremendous acquisition from the Indianapolis Colts. A very good tight end.
Jeff Garcia looks like an entirely different quarterback today than he did against the Minnesota Vikings a week ago. He was wild. His feet were really active and busy. He threw off balance. He looks very controlled in the pocket. He's made some excellent throws. The one to Roy Williams, he put the ball the only place that Williams could get it, in the end zone. And he's really run this offense very efficiently.
Well, Joe, I think people forget he's coming back off of his own injury. He had a broken bone in his leg, a high ankle sprain in the last preseason game. So Joey Harrington basically won the starting job by default because of Garcia's injury. This one is intended for Mike Williams, the rookie wide receiver out of USC, and they have some huge wide receivers on this team.
Well, Jeff Garcia thought he had Mike Williams coming across the middle all by himself. And what happened is the Green Bay Packers defense or linebackers just only stepped back about 1.5 yards, and they waited on him coming across, and Mike Williams saw them.
Harris will punt to Antonio Chapman. First punt in this game, late in the first half. Chapman at the 25. Tried to make the spin move to get away to start the return, but Andre Goodman, with a tremendous job on special teams, makes the tackle. Timeout on the field, 6:20 to go in the half.
It should sit, that Brett deserves to go out on his own terms. Aaron said he's never seen anyone love the game so much. He said if it happens next season, he'd be okay with having the same role as Brett's backup.
Well, that's great to hear, Susie. And I don't know anyone that's ever been around Brett Favre or respects this game that would think he hasn't earned the right to go out on his own terms, because he's not going to disrespect this game. He's not going to hang around to try to get records. He's not going to hang around for his own motivation. He's going to stay for the team.
And I also think it's an advantage for Aaron Rodgers to sit for a while. He'll have a long career here. I mean, if he plays well in Green Bay, he'll be here a long time.
Sure.
You look at Brett's career, and most guys will play 10 years. It's a chance for him to learn the professional game from one of the really true pros.
And there is reason to be optimistic about next year if they get all their guys back, the people that were injured this year. And how about Samkon Gado? R.W. McQuarters can't catch him. And Samkon Gado has just gone 64 yards for a touchdown. Are you kidding?
You think Mike Sherman's becoming a believer in him now?
He's a pro player. You know what? They've been putting in Kevin Berry, number 71, and letting him play the tight end. They opened up that whole right side. Samkon Gado got to the outside, and he was gone.
What great patience. A lot of guys would try and cut this up. Look at the patience he has. Stretch it out, stretch it out. Stay behind Mike Flanagan, number 58, your center, and then show him some speed for a guy that's 225 pounds.
Tell you what, R.W. McQuarters can run, and he couldn't catch him.
Yeah, but look at these guys. The blocking up inside was just incredible.
And the Packers get a touchdown to cut into that Lions lead. We're in Green Bay, where Samkon Gado is becoming a household name. Back in Green Bay, where the Packers have cut the lead to 3. In Gado we trust, in Favre we believe. That's pretty good.
Everybody came tonight to see Brett Favre play well, and Samkon Gado has just taken over this crowd. He really has.
R.W. McQuarters is deep to receive. His gas tank might be on empty right now after trying to chase down Gado. on that last touchdown run, and the Lions will start from the 37-yard line. Sean Bryson on that return. And the young man from Nigeria trying to make a name for himself in the NFL. We have an added bonus in Green Bay. A little breeze is kicked up. It's about 10 miles an hour.
We should be approaching 0 then.
I think we passed it. Kevin Jones out of Virginia Tech in his second year, dragging Roy Manning with him.
You're kidding me. They're doing the wave in Lambeau Field.
That's where the winds come from.
That 10-mile-an-hour wind.
I wonder where that breeze came from.
They're doing a wave.
Why not? I love it.
That's one way to
Tradition.
Work. Yeah, but it's when the guys pick their shotguns up on the wave. Boom.
I think they're just moving just to make sure they can.
Well, one thing that has to pick up is Detroit's offense now. They're going to have to start matching Green Bay.
Jones again picks his way about a yard shy of a first down. Excuse me, it was Bryson.
One of the things that the Detroit Lions did when Dick Jauron took over, he in essence named Greg Olson the quarterback coach, the offensive coordinator, co-offensive coordinator with Ted Tollner, who was. And really, Greg Olson is the one calling the plays. Now, he called them the last 3 games last year, and they put up over 350 yards throwing the football in 2 of those 3 games and beat the Bears at the end of the season. So he's doing a pretty darn good job with this offense as well.
3 wide receivers on 3rd and short. Garcia throws underneath and threw it behind Scotty Vines, who reached back and got one hand on it. And now Scotty Vines out there exchanging words with one of the Packer defenders. Nick Harris, who is having a good year punting the football, to kick to Antonio Chapman. Not that time, though. Gets a great bounce for him. And will be down at the 3-yard line. So Harris gets off a low, skidding punt that gets a great bounce, and Keith Smith downs it. Let's check in with Susie.
Mike, no doubt one of the best stories of this season, the emergence of Sam Kangata. While the other players hid from the cold during pregame warmups, he was out here for a long time. A good luck hug from his mom, Grace. 11 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown tonight. He explained to us that not only is he not offended that Mike Sherman hasn't anointed him a legitimate NFL back, he said he's actually doing me a favor because it'd be too tempting to think I had arrived. He said, plus, I'd only played 6 games, 4 good ones. Well, I think we can say now 5 good ones with a 102-yard performance tonight.
Susie, there just aren't enough guys coming out of college right now who you would classify as humble. And he is a lot of fun to talk to. Packers deep in a hole right here. Gatto. Not much.
Who was evaluating talent at Liberty?
Just because he was 3rd string?
You know what? His coach called Al Saunders out in Kansas City. And the other thing about Sam Khan was when he went to Kansas City, he wasn't quite sure whether he could play or not. He thought he could. But when he started running around in the mini camps with the rookies, he looked around and said, you know what? I can do this. I believe I can do this. And he certainly has.
Said his goal was if he could play in the NFL somehow for 3 or 4 years just on special teams and get enough money to go to medical school, he would just be thrilled. Favre fakes one away, goes over the middle. That one is complete to Don Lee. And Lee taken down by Wally Rayner. That'll be shy of a first down. Well short.
How many times in his career, Joe, have you watched him with that little fake pumping and then it's like a windmill, and then he continues, he goes back over again. Here it goes, watch. Boom. Okay, here it comes back over the middle. That little pump, and then that one for about 8 yards over the middle. That's nice.
You have to be able to get it through and load it so quick so that everything stays on rhythm. Plus, he knows where everyone is, so he can play a little bit of games with it.
We've reached the 2-minute warning in a 3-point game.
Everyone talks about how tough their truck is, how much it can haul. But when we build a truck, we like to think beyond the first load, to the second, the third, the fourth. That's why load after load, year after year, nothing stops a Tundra. Toyota Trucks, moving forward. Special financing and lease options available now.
Two fugitive princes. One wants to free his people. The other, to dominate them. One seeks justice. The other seeks power. The trouble is, they're the same man. One warrior, two souls. Prince of Persia, The Two Thrones. Available now. Rated M for mature.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you time!
Stay tuned for the Kia Halftime Show with Chris Berman, the fastest 3 minutes in television. Boomer's Halftime Heroes. Will Clemens actually go back to Boston? That's all coming up on the Kia Halftime Show.
Go for it, Roger. Go for it. Go win another Cy Young.
Still got that huge fastball. Why not?
Wicked slider.
Third down for Favre. And that should be enough for a first down as Donald Driver makes his first catch of the night and then fights for extra yardage after taking a whack from Bracey Walker.
Wow, I mean, first of all, you have to catch the ball. I mean, there's a lot of traffic right here. A little quick hitch, post, tries to run under the catch it. Now he gets the big shot up inside. And Brett just stays with it all the way. It's the over-the-hand delivery that's become so familiar in Brett Favre. Wow, he got bounced for the first down.
Screen, and that one was sniffed out very well by the defense. Tony Fisher didn't have a chance.
That was 92, Sean Rogers. I'm going to tell you what, this is a great play on defense.
He's a terrific player.
I think you have to start thinking about making a decision here if you're Mike Sherman right now. Because Dick Duran is tickled. If you throw one, it's incomplete, it stops the clock. You're going to give him the ball back. I believe what the Packers will do is let the clock run down, run a play. Detroit wants to use one of their timeouts, that's fine. But just keep on, let it run down.
These are the ones that usually have draw play written all over them if they're going to run. And there it is. And the Lions thinking along the same lines. Now the crowd is booing. I don't know why.
We have a timeout on the play.
Now here's the little inside secret about television. We've got heaters and blankets up here because it's about 0. So they tell us when we come on camera, go ahead and drop the blankets so we don't see them.
Some of us don't wear blankets up
Some
there.
of us don't have a blanket.
Well,
no, and I don't have gloves
some
either.
of us would like a couple of more blankets. Let's put it that way.
Well, ever since you got that blood flowing through you, now you feel the cold a little bit more, don't you?
Exactly, exactly.
Look at that, the wind chills. It's 14 degrees up here, 6-degree wind chill. And when they started the wave, that dropped down to 0 for a few minutes.
Well, you know, it's not that. It really is not that bad here.
No, not bad at all, Paul.
I'm serious. It's kind of comfortable up here.
Compared to what?
We're fine, Mike. Give me back my gloves.
Guys, look at these people. There isn't an empty seat in this building.
No, they're remarkable. They are remarkable in Green Bay. I mean, they show up, 72,000 people show up for the preseason, 72,000 people show up for an ice bowl. Hunter again dragged down at the 5-yard line. And that was a nice play by defensive end James Hall, and the Lions will use their last timeout with 27 seconds to go. Check in with Susie.
Well, Mike, we know these are two teams playing for pride. Jeff Garcia told us all he wanted to see from his team, fight, battle, and have fun. Well, we know Roy Williams was having fun. The great control on the touchdown. Samkon Gatto, one of the best stories of the season. Another 100-yard game and a 64-yard touchdown to boot. Favre becomes the first player with 14 seasons of 3,000-plus yards. Just another mark in a brilliant career. 13-10 Lions.
All right, thank you, Susie. And here's something we always try to point out near the end of a half. If they call for a fair catch and declare that they want a free kick, they could actually get an easier attempt at a field goal. We'll explain a little more in a second.
I think you take the fair catch.
High and short, McQuarters lets it bounce at the 35. Now, if R.W. McQuarters had come up and made that catch at the 35-yard line, they could have had a free kick at a field goal. No rushes, all the time they need to kick it.
Well, and there wasn't that much dangerous about it either.
No. You can unwrap an NBA doubleheader on Christmas Day on ABC Sports. First at noon Eastern, the Spurs take on the Pistons. Then at 3, Kobe and the Lakers go to Miami to take on the Heat. That's on Christmas Day.
Well, the reason I was saying is R.W. McQuarters, I mean, you've got to make a stab at it, because even if you would have muffed the ball, you got your guys here in the Green Bay Packers, they're not going anywhere. They have no time. They have one timeout, but they would have gone anywhere.
But if you muff it, you lose the opportunity. Now you have a chance for one play, then you can get up and ground it and attempt to make the kick. And all you need to do is pick up 7-8 yards. And I think Jason Hanson will be well within kicking range. I mean, he's 3 for 6 from 49 yards, so you can get him in range pretty easy.
3 wide receivers. Pollard is the tight end. Garcia goes to the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. And the timing was off on that. The pass intended for Mike Williams. He was making his turn. The ball had already gone past him.
Well, the young receiver didn't read blitz, and when you're Mike Williams, all he had to do was read blitz, and he has to cut the pattern shorter, because Garcia did the right thing. He got the ball out as quick as he possibly could. Mike Williams didn't adjust to it.
He can do it again. And now if you're the Green Bay Packers defensively, you have to be thinking that they're going to throw the ball to the outside to try and advance it. Because if they throw it in the middle of the field, they're never going to get a chance to line up and have a shot at the field goal.
Here comes the blitz again. Garcia hangs in the pocket and throws intended for Roy Williams. And it turns into a 2-man defender situation. Harris got over there. Al Harris just having a magnificent year.
Al Harris up in press coverage. That's where he wanted to play Roy Williams. Roy Williams, big, goes and gets it. Almost gets a hand on it. The ball's thrown exactly where you want it to be. You just have to give a lot of credit to terrific defensive job.
Boy, that was just textbook. He gets the great jam, turns and runs with him.
I talked to Jim Bates, the defensive coordinator of the Packers, about him. He said he's a perfect build. Perfect build for a corner. He's 6'1", he's 185, has great ball skills, quick to the ball.
So the Lions, thinking they can't be in field goal position here, go for the short pass. The catch is made and the clock is going to run out.
It's over.
So they pass up an opportunity at a long field goal, go for the short pass. The clock runs out. Our score here in Lambeau, the Lions 13, the Packers 10. Let's join Chris Berman for the Kia halftime show. And that's where we stand at the half, 13-10. The Lions over the Packers in a series that goes back to the 30s, and rarely has it ever been a game like this. One team 2-10, the other 4-8.
You don't see too many 2-10, 4-8 games, and to see it at this quality. Both the teams have been through a lot of different things. The Packers have been in every football game, and certainly this is a night that Brett Favre wants to try and get things back on stride. Didn't play well last week, got beat up against the Bears, knows that he wants to play better football. He knows how disappointed he was.
Well, you guys mentioned during the first half that it looked like a different Jeff Garcia than a week ago when he was still recovering from a serious injury at the beginning of the season. He's running the offense pretty well.
Two things. The defense has played extremely well, except for that one run on Samkon Gatto. And other than that, Jeff Garcia, he's had people in scoring position. He didn't make a dumb mistake. He threw a touchdown pass. They come out with 2 field goals. He has done everything they've actually asked him to do. So now you know why he's starting at quarterback tonight, because with him, they have the better chance to win.
Paul, isn't it still that one thing that the Lions lack, and that's going down the field and taking chances? They're going to have to incorporate that over the last part of this season to at least make it a part of threatening people with the size of these receivers downfield.
They need to do it on a warmer place.
In the dome?
The Lions kick off. Hansen falls down, and Hansen is still down as he approached the ball. Ends up being a squib kick, and the veteran very close to seriously hurting himself on that play. Kenny Peterson made the recovery for the Green Bay Packers.
Well, he's more embarrassed than he was getting hurt. Here he comes. Hansen is going to his plant leg just goes. Look at it. It just slips right out in front of him, and he's lucky to make contact with the ball. He's okay.
He's a kicker. He's tough.
So the Packers get great field position to start with, and Favre completes the pass to Driver. Let's check in with Susie.
Mike, I talked to Dick Duran about the 2 goals he set for his team tonight. One was run the ball effectively. He felt they had done that pretty well, enough to give the defense a break. But he said the problem has been all season. Defense is playing well. Then they give up that one big play. And he was talking about the 64-yard touchdown run by Sam Gatto. And I asked Mike Sherman about it. Well, what do you think of him now? And he said, another big play like that, and he'll win me over.
Coaches are never satisfied. They may need another big play like that from him before it's over. Favre unloads the pass, underthrown to Ferguson, no flag. And Favre said the other day that that's really what he has missed with Javon Walker. He can throw the ball up in the air. At worst, it's going to be a jump ball incompletion, but Walker was the guy who was capable of getting the pass interference.
Well, I think in this case, maybe Ferguson might have even had a chance to do it, but the ground's so slick, he can't get any footing to try and come back for the ball. But Brett will do that. When Javon Walker comes back, and I believe Brett will be here next year, that he will make those plays down the field for him.
And excellent coverage, again, by R.W. McQuarters. Favre this time short and incomplete, intended to Driver, and McQuarters was all over it.
You know, R.W. McQuarters is showing something. He's returning punts, but R.W. McQuarters is showing you some quick hands as a defensive back. Watch this. Now watch it when he sees the ball come. Look at his hands inside. Very nice. Never touched Driver, just knocked the ball down.
Originally a first-round draft choice for San Francisco. Has bounced around in his 8 years. Sander to punt to McQuarters. Fair catch signal made. Bobbled it, got it back. And Lions will maintain possession after a 30-yard punt. 13-3 Detroit, or 13-10 Detroit.
You by Saab. When you used to build jets, you don't build just another car. Saab. Born from Jets. Pioneer, proud sponsor of the Pioneer Pure Vision Las Vegas Bowl and the LeBrons on NikeBasketball.com.
Lambeau Field now has a capacity of over 72,000. It opened in 1957, and there are over 68,000 people on the season ticket waiting list. 5,000 or 6,000 will freeze to death tonight and free up some space. Underneath to Jones from Garcia, and Jones will take it for about 9 yards.
We want to show you on Pass Track just a wonderful job that Jeff Garcia does. It's very important 2 things happen when you're throwing a fade. You've got to be able to put enough arc under the ball so that it gets over the defender, and the wide receiver has to leave the quarterback enough room towards the sidelines to be able to make a play. What impressed me so much about this was watch Roy Williams' head. Even before he has control of the ball, he was looking to make sure he could get his feet in bounds.
2nd and 1 for Detroit from the 36. Pinner got very close to the sticks before he was thrown back.
You know, Jeff Garcia, you talked about him, and this guy came to Detroit, and he got hurt and he didn't play very well, and they weren't consistent offensively. But when you sit down and talk to him, you know that when he was with the San Francisco 49ers, this guy went to 3 Pro Bowls. He is such a competitor. All he wants to do is win and make his team play better. And I thought the nice thing about it, when he was talking about the last 4 games, he said, I want him to play every single play. I want him to play tough. But most importantly, I think we need to have some fun, which we haven't had this year.
Garcia straight back, floats it down the near side, incomplete, intended for Scotty Vines out of Wyoming. Let's go to Susie for more on Jeff Garcia.
You know, he's been so outspoken since he arrived in Detroit because he saw immediately that the work ethic just wasn't where it should be. And he was hoping that it was just the off season, but then it carried through to the season. He became more vocal and then took some heat for that. And he said he wasn't going to stop talking until everybody within the team realized what it takes to compete at that high level.
And Susie, there are a lot of people who support Jeff Garcia because of that. And this is pretty much a divided locker room, it seems, when it comes to who should play quarterback. A lot of people on Joey Harrington's side. Boy.
Oh, what a great tackle by Nick Collins, the 2nd-round pick. Nick out of Bethune-Cookman really has stepped up. As a matter of fact, this entire secondary and linebacking core just full of young football players. This is the perfect tackle. Get yourself square in the hole, deliver the blow, lift, and plant. Boy, what a hit. Look at the power.
Who did you ever tackle?
No, I've been tackled a lot. I know what it feels like.
He knows what perfect
I'm talking about it from the other side. I've seen a lot of perfect tackles on me on film.
That's right.
Observe things like that.
And you know how they feel, too.
Oh, yeah.
Hard toes Pinner thought he had some running room. Garcia, who can run. Dives head first to get the first down. Nice play by Garcia. If he slides, he doesn't get it.
That's right. Yeah, I'm going to tell you what. You think about Jeff Garcia and his toughness. Now, this guy, in this particular play, watch. Nobody to throw to. Now, he's got some pressure. Instead of sliding, he knows where the first down marker is, and he dives to get it.
And he's now just starting to feel healthy from the broken leg. He had a broken fibula. Now, that's interpreted as a non-weight-bearing bone medically. I broke mine, and it hurts. Forget this non-weight-bearing stuff. It hurts when you go run around. He's finally starting to feel good.
First down, Jones is back in as the running back, and the Lions say, we want to run the football. Garcia didn't think it meant him 2 times in a row, though. Joey Harrington out of Oregon was their 1st-round draft choice in 2002, the 3rd overall pick in the draft. He has been very inconsistent since he has been in Detroit. Had his best year last year, the first time he threw more touchdown passes than interceptions, but this year has been a major disappointment for him.
And I just don't think that Joey Harrington can survive in Detroit. I think he can play in this league, but he's going to have to play someplace else because I don't know if his teammates and the fans will cut him enough slack.
Jones. The Packers defense throws him back after a gain of about 3.
But isn't it amazing when you talk about Joey Harrington? All this guy needs to do is really, I agree with you, Joe, get a change of climate. Go someplace else and start all over again. Because he has an arm, he can throw the ball. He needs some time to play.
And I think here's the question, though. Jeff Garcia is 35 years old. Does he want to come back to Detroit? I mean, Matt Millen has got decisions to make both from a player standpoint and a coaching standpoint, and you certainly know that he's going to spend more time looking for a coach this time around than he did when he just flat went and hired Steve Mariucci.
3rd and long, here comes another blitz. They pick it up, and Garcia throws underneath. The catch is made by Williams, but he lost his footing, and he's covered by Marvell Underwood.
And if he catches this ball, he's got a first down. And he keeps his footing.
He keeps his feeding.
Feeding foot.
The feeding is such a bad thing sometimes, I know.
But
it's one of those things that happens, Paul, when it comes to the Detroit Lions. You get it going, you're up around midfield, you have an opportunity to make a play, and all of a sudden you see the frustration in Jeff Garcia's face.
Harris to kick to Chapman. Much better punt this time. And it takes a great bounce for the Lions. That ball hit at the 1 and came back like a Tiger Woods wedge shot. Scotty Vines down to mark the ball at the 4 after a 40-yard kick.
This week on NFL Big Man Dance Challenge, the Patriots stare down the Chicago Bears. Debbie, Shannon, and Deacon call the shots. This week on The Challenge.
13-10, the Lions continue to lead the Packers. 8:53 to go, third quarter.
You know, one thing about Favre is, in all these years, Joe, I don't care how cold it is tonight, it doesn't matter where he gets the ball on the field. He never thinks about it. You know, he really doesn't. He's, well, okay, we got to go 97. That's a piece of cake. We'll take 10 at a time, or 12.
Or 97.
Or 97.
One wide receiver, two tight ends. They line up in the eye. Gatto breaks it across the 10, across the 15 to the 18, first down. James Hall made the tackle. Another big play from Gatto.
Joe, that's Kevin Berry again, number 71, playing a tight end on the right-hand side. They're just caving everything in. Look on the right-hand side of the screen, and you'll see it. Kevin Berry just blocks down inside and allows Samkon Gatto to get up some running room, and they pick up a first down.
They call that their U formation.
13 carries, 117 yards. Favre tries to get the big strike here. It's incomplete again. Excellent coverage by the Detroit Lions' R.W. McQuarters. Let's go to Stuart Scott, a SportsCenter 30 and 30 update.
Thanks a lot, guys. Colts trying to be just the fourth team ever to start a season 13-0, taking on the Jags. He called his pattern a stutter go. Marvin Harrison stuttered, and he went to the hizzy. 65 yards, one of two touchdowns on the day. Colts beat up the Jazz. Baseball news, the Boston Red Sox have expressed interest in bringing Roger back if the Rocket wants it. Boston Globe reports Rocket is interested. Let's go back to the fellas now in Green Bay.
Samkon Gatto up to the 25-yard line.
You know, I'm sitting there watching. Tell me this guy's not a legitimate pro football player. If you watch the way this guy moves, his feet, keeping his legs going, whatever he's studied, he's learned a lot. He broke to the outside, then back onto the inside. If you just take a look at his legs, he sees the whole field. When he saw this opening, he just took off. R.W. McQuarters could not catch him. I just like what he does. Well, he tried the Lambeau leap, and his leaper got caught.
And, Paul, that was the longest run by a Packer rookie in 57 years. This is the tight end, David Martin. Favre starting inside his 5, trying to engineer a drive that could get him a tie or the lead.
You know, you've played in cold weather, and you're watching Favre throw the ball, and you know the heat that he can throw the ball with. Can you believe the catches that these guys are making?
That's the thing that I've been impressed with from the Green Bay Packers. We know Brett throws the ball hard, and you know his arm still has a lot of strength in it. But these guys haven't used their bodies at all. They're all hands catchers, and they've done an excellent job. They haven't been bobbled one bit.
Gatto, nothing this time, taken down at the 30-yard line. With all the skill players gone, Favre leads the NFL in interceptions, but it hasn't changed who he is on the field.
Maybe I just don't have the smarts to talk myself into or out of certain decisions or plays. I don't know. But I do know this, I'll play the game a certain way, and I will be as critical about my play as I've always been. But, you know, if you're a guy who swings for the fence, you swing for the fence, you know. They're not going to ask you to lay a bunt down.
Well, he hadn't laid a bunt down in 15 years and doesn't intend to.
Joe, you made a great point at the beginning of the telecast. You said he's not going to change, and we don't want to see him change. And you're right.
We talked about it at practice on Friday a little bit, just talking about the game and the position. I don't want to see him change his mentality to be aggressive. What I mentioned to him was when you get down into the scoring areas, that's where you have to try and protect points because you don't have the players around you to make up for errors like you had in the past.
3rd and 7, 3 wide out. Underneath, Driver looked over, found where the chains were, and tried to get there. He only made the 40, had to reach the 41. Earl Holmes did a nice job of making the tackle short of the sticks.
You know what's amazing, Michael? Samkon Gatto is averaging 8.3 yards per carry. Favre is averaging 6 yards a throw.
And that's a terrific job by Earl Holmes, really not allowing Donald Driver to pick up the first down.
Very high, very short kick. And that big average for Gatto, Paul, comes from a team that's averaging only 3.2 yards a carry all year long. Third worst in the league. Monday night, the electrifying Michael Vick and the Falcons host the Saints on Monday Night Football at 9 Eastern on ABC Sports.
You know that game's in a dome?
Inside where it's warm?
Oh, come on. It's not that bad out here. Come on.
Nice out here.
Football weather.
Jones can't turn the corner. Gang tackled by the Packers. Nick Barnett led the charge. He has used that speed. This is a defense where the middle linebacker is featured.
You know, if I'm going to run against the Green Bay Packers, I'm going to run the KGB side.
Why?
Because he goes down inside more than Campman does. Campman is a left defensive end, and he pretty much stays at home. KGB.
Well, it's part of the design of the defense too, Paulie.
Jones is spun down by Campman.
When you think of the design of Jim Bates' defense, the linebackers designed to make plays. If you can, picture Zach Thomas with the Miami Dolphins averaging over 180 tackles in the last 4 years. Then you look at Nick Barnett, who's got over 150 in just 12 ball games. That's the design, is for the middle linebacker. The ends are supposed to chase the ball, and the tackles are supposed to be the contain guys. And this has been a change for KGB. He feels like he's playing much better against the run. It's just that they haven't been ahead enough to get his sacks up.
Third down and long, the crowd back into it. Four-man rush, Garcia underneath, nothing doing. Bryson makes the catch, wrapped up immediately by Mark Roman, the strong safety.
I've got a problem with this offense, to be honest with you. This offense does not give its football players a chance to make plays. You have to be too perfect. You have to break tackles. It's a 5-step drop. You need 3rd and 8. You throw a 4-yard route. The routes they aren't even over 8 yards. I mean, I just don't like what they're doing on offense. They're not giving a chance to anybody.
In a field position game for sure. Chapman will make a fair catch. At the 20, 2:49 to go, third quarter. Still a 3-point ball game in Green Bay.
ESPN's double coverage weekend.
Sports. It was Don Weiss announcing the selection of Brett Favre, and he was so unknown at that point, at least to a lot of people, that they pronounced the name as it is spelled instead of as it's pronounced.
See, that's the problem I had. From Thiesman to Theismann. The Favre trophy, the favorite trophy. I mean, it works. See, that happens to other people.
Yours was calculated.
Well, that too.
By the Notre Dame PR staff.
Thank you.
Because Thiesman doesn't rhyme with Heisman.
Oh, man, I tell you, when you say his favorite target is Donald Driver, and when these two guys decide to hook up, this was just a perfect route, and this is done by the offensive line. Take a look at this, and look at this route. Here's Driver, back, it was perfect.
He just leans into this. That's the way he can throw it. Everybody talks about have a classic finish, stay on balance. He doesn't have any of that. And when you have an arm that's sort of independent from your body, you can make a lot of throws that a lot of people can't.
He laughs at his own footwork because he's got that great arm. He really doesn't need it. Gatto, who has had a huge night, wrapped up the 39, may have lost a yard on that one.
See, I believe now what the Packers are going to have to do is start complimenting what Samkon Gatto is doing by running left and running right and coming back with some bootlegs. They're going to have to slow down the pursuit of this Detroit defense, which, by the way, I think has played very, very well. Shaun Rogers, a bona fide Pro Bowler. Dan Wilkinson, in his 12th year, has really come on and played well. 2 exceptional tackles for them.
Favre with a lot of time underneath to Henderson. Nice move to get away, and Henderson has a first down and more.
You know what? There's a lot of flags on the field, but I'll tell you, how many years have we been watching William Henderson just keep doing this over and over and over again? Favre knows that if everybody is covered, number 33, William Henderson, is open. Or even if he's not, all you got to do is make sure you get the ball in his hands.
Personal foul, major face mask, defense number 58, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's on Wally Rayner.
What a move William Henderson makes. After he makes the catch, he squares around and just gives the little hurdle to get over. And there's the face mask by Rayner. Just hangs on. And the reason why it's a 15-yarder is because he yanks and turns the helmet. Good job.
You could have penalized him 45 for that when he had it forever. So a break for the Packers. They're down at the 31-yard line. Gatto. Blockers in front. Samkon Gatto to the 15-yard line. And Vontae Leach, the big fullback, was out there as his escort.
You know that Vontae Leach really didn't have to block anybody. That hole was so wide open. When Vontae Leach goes out in front, watch 48. When he goes out in front, look at, he doesn't hit anybody until he gets 20 yards downfield. Here comes Samkon Gatto to the outside. But Leach is there. If he turns to the inside and makes that block, he might have gone for a touchdown.
What do you have to do to prove to a coach that you can play in this league?
I think that's about it. 18 carries, 144 yards tonight.
Does he have 300 yards rushing yet?
Oh, yeah. Gatto tries to get outside. This time he is dragged down. In fact, Samkon Gatto with 2 rushes for 100 yards this year. 2 games for 100 yards. Tonight he's been terrific.
Then we take a look at the rush chart. He's run a lot to the right. 8 carries, 108 yards. Of course, he had the big one off the right side. Not many have been run to the left. They line up with the U formation, put Kevin Berry in at the tight end on the right side, and keep wearing out Corey Redding over on the left side of that Detroit defense.
That's the end of the third quarter. The Packers down by 3, but they're driving. We're ready to start the fourth quarter in Green Bay. The Packers trailing the Detroit Lions 13-10.
And by the way, which is a very good football game. And Brett Favre started out just a little bit shaky on his first play of the night. Not the cleanest delivery, you might say, but then starts to catch it on. The thing about Brett Favre is he just sets and does an excellent job of moving around the pocket. Not as typical as, say, a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning. But once he sets and has to fire, he gets it out as great as anybody that's ever played the game.
Favre the quick out, knocked down because R.W. McQuarters closed on Ferguson.
See, Ferguson has tried so hard to get on top of R.W. McQuarters all night, and he hasn't been able to do it. They've run some goes on him. R.W.'s been right there. Now they run the hitch, thinking that R.W. would back up a little bit. He doesn't do it. He stays right with him. He's just lucky he didn't break on it and go the other way like happened to him last week against Chicago.
Third down, and Antonio Chapman, number 83, is in as a wide receiver for Green Bay. He was in motion. Favre under pressure, can't get away, taken down. Back at the 20-yard line, the sack to James Hall, the defensive end out of Michigan, who has had a big game tonight.
Dick Duran told us last night, the key to containing Brett Favre is pressure with the tackles. He's got to be delighted from what he got out of his 2 guys up front. Shaun Rogers, Corey Redding, Dan Wilkinson, James Hall. Just the pressure by the 4 got to Favre.
And now Longwell on to try a field goal. He's had one blocked tonight from 39. This is also from 39, and he's hit from 36. The Green Bay Packers have tied this ball game at home.
football game. This is spectacular football. It really was, wasn't it, Mike?
Oh, it was. And how many spectacular games have we seen involving that guy? He has been a highlight reel his entire career.
Allstott goes in with 145. Takes Brett a total of 44 seconds to get him back on top.
McQuarters, who's had a tremendous night, now trying to get a return here and takes it up to the 33-yard line. 14-16 left to go in a tie ball game. It's 13-all.
ESPN Sunday Night Football, brought to you by Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. With Visa's multiple layers of security, you're protected. Staples, that was easy. And Mazda, always the soul of a sports car.
Up here at least, Santa is a Packer fan. Isn't that pretty?
Well, it's like the North Pole, isn't it here? Isn't this like the neighborhood of the North Pole?
The North Pole's warmer. Garcia wants a screen. Bryson. KGB right there to stop it or make that Montgomery. Michael Montgomery, the rookie in at right defensive end, was right in the middle of that screen.
You know, Joe mentioned something back in the first quarter about the Detroit Lions, and you said that they've got to go down, they got to stretch the field a little bit. When you try to run screens against a team that you have 11 guys sitting within 8 yards of the line of scrimmage, it's impossible to do that. You've got to get them off the line.
Second and 11. Garcia flushed out of the pocket. Room to run. He's got a first down and got out of bounds.
Wow, was there a collision? You could see that collision coming on the sidelines.
That was Sean Bryson, number 24, I believe.
That's what
came back and helped out.
That's what you have to do. You have to come back and protect your quarterback. You could see Jeff Garcia directing traffic, and as he was being chased, here he is being chased by KGB. Bryson from the right part of your screen just comes flying in and takes KGB out.
Those are one of those babies you dream about.
Kabir got his initials scrambled that time.
Pinner can't get outside this time. Grabbed around the ankles by Grady Jackson.
Every game, I've watched 2 ball games, I should say, and I've seen a lot more of them. Every game, Grady Jackson comes up with some kind of a play. There's the big move right in the middle on Dominic Raiola. He just throws him out of the way, and the big guy slides inside.
That was unbelievable. Grady Jackson, I mean, he just threw him out of the way.
Like he was nothing.
Raiola, I mean,
he weighs 300 pounds.
He only hit him with one hand.
It's just remarkable to watch guys his size be that athletic. Garcia. Underthrown, but caught by Williams.
Well, Joseph, you finally got your wish. Here it comes. I'm going to tell you what, this ball is underthrown, but I really believe after all these years, this is by design. Now watch this. His ball is underthrown. Roy Williams comes back. He's got the height advantage. And Al Harris really doesn't have much of a chance here. He's motoring downfield. He can't turn and make the move that Roy Williams does, and it's the perfect throw.
Boy, and Al Harris hasn't been beaten much by anybody. He really wasn't beaten on that one. It was underthrown. The receiver able to get back, and he couldn't. Garcia underneath to Pinner, and Pinner didn't have a chance. Nick Barnett with all that speed from the middle linebacker spot to make a tackle.
Boy, as Nick Barnett in his 3rd year really stepped up his game. And Jeff Garcia, we talked about having to challenge the Packers down the field a bit more. You see, he's only thrown 4 balls over 15 yards. Of course, that was the big one with the 40-yard reception. They've got to do that with more consistency. They have got to back him up. And, Paulie, you made a great point. You can't run screens unless you can get linebackers and defensive backs respecting deep plays. Get a little bit of space between them and the line of scrimmage.
Empty backfield for Garcia. And every time they see that, they blitz. This time the pass complete underneath. Mike Williams, the rookie. They have to reach just inside the 7-yard line for a first down. Mark Roman, the strong safety, made that tackle a couple of yards shy.
This goes back a little bit to what Dick Duran talked to us about last night when we visited with him, that this football team needs to learn how to finish games. This would be a great confidence builder for him and his ball club if they can put this one in the end zone and then hold off the Packers as they try and tie it up or go ahead, depending upon
The Packers have lost Brady Papinga, the rookie linebacker, who was starting tonight. He has a left knee injury, unlikely that he'll come back in the ballgame. Pollard has the first down inside the 5, the veteran tight end with a good grab.
Does Marcus Pollard just show you his experience? Now, he catches that ball on the outside, and the first turn he makes, he knows exactly where he is. He knows he doesn't have the first down. He's got to get inside the 6-yard line, and he just makes it back to the inside. That's the easiest place for him to go, where he has the most power.
First and goal. Big acquisition from Indianapolis, a team that's just filthy rich with offensive players. They can afford to get up a quality guy like Pollard. Pinner to the 1. Artos Pinner out of Kentucky, one of 3 running backs the Lions have used tonight.
Artos Pinner is, you talk about a guy running with power, and watch him drop his shoulder right here and lean. He's going to lean towards the goal line. Val Harris is in there, and the other 3 guys, he doesn't make it. It took 4 guys to bring him down.
He's another one of those young guys in his 3rd year that just is all over this ball club.
He's not in.
Pinner got maybe a foot, and that's it.
Now, you're not going to run, I don't think, up the middle of this defense with Cullen Jenkins and Grady Jackson in there. And then, they'll decide to throw in a Corey Williams who's only about 315 pounds on top of him.
Artos Pinner, that's the 2nd time we've seen him hit a brick wall tonight. And, you get tired of that. Go outside a little bit.
Now, this is where the athletic ability of a Jeff Garcia can really help you. I think it's a good opportunity for play action. Let Jeff go out, get on the perimeter, challenge the defense, and make a play.
Pinner is the tailback. Scotty Fines to the wide side of the field. Pinner will get it. Second effort. They're still going to mark him short.
You know what they did? Joe, they went right smack at Grady Jackson again, number 75, and he never moved.
You can't
Pinner,
move him.
watch this. You want to watch Pinner stop. Boom. That's it. That's as far as you're going, son.
The other thing you saw on that shot was you did not see the Detroit Lions move any of the Green Bay Packers green shirts off the line.
I love this. They're going to go for it. I love this. Why not?
Watch the lines. See if the Detroit Lions, the white shirts, can move the green ones back. That's going to be the key.
4th and goal. The play clock is running out. They spent an inordinate amount of time in the huddle after deciding to go for it. And a foot, and the Lions talking over what they want to do.
Yeah, when the offensive coordinator is talking to your wide receiver, Roy Williams, he's a guy they'll probably try and throw a jump ball to.
Quarterback sneak by Garcia. No chance.
What a horrible call.
You're right.
What a horrible call. You got a 185-pound, 195-pound guy who can't get any traction, and what you do is you try and squeeze him up the field. You have a better chance throwing the ball to a 6'4" receiver than trying to ask a little quarterback to go against Grady Jackson.
We're tied, 13-13. When you run at Grady Jackson once and you don't get an inch, then you run at him again, he doesn't get an inch. You wonder why you're going to do it the 3rd time, because he didn't get an inch this time either.
Especially with a guy that, he outweighs by 160 pounds.
At least. So the Packers have it inside their own 1. And if this is against Green Bay, it'll be about a 3-inch penalty.
Offense number 79.
Doesn't matter.
Half the distance to the goal, it's still first down.
You know what?
Grady Jackson is on Dominic Raiola, number 51. Watch him move him back. He just moves him back. He actually makes the play on the quarterback. Barnett comes in and makes the tackle, but he took the center and jammed him into Garcia. That's incredible.
And you'll see there that the green shirts beat the white shirts off the line of scrimmage and got under them. And if you can't beat that line off, they're not going anywhere.
Safety. Oh, fumble!
The ball was fumbled. If they rule it a fumble, they're going to be very fortunate because Gatto was trapped in the end zone.
Doesn't matter, Mike. If there's a holding penalty by the offensive line in the end zone, it's a safety.
If it occurred in the end zone. But certainly he was tackled in the end zone, then fumbled the ball forward. The Packers recover. So let's see what Mike Carey's ruling is. And Paul, you're absolutely right. If the penalty is in the end zone, it's a safety.
If the penalty on the offense, anyone on the offense in the end zone is a holding penalty in the end zone, it'll be a safety.
Boy, you come from so deep in the eye.
Yeah, it's very dangerous, isn't it?
Well, when you're that far away from the line of scrimmage coming out of the end zone, and the ball that's close, that's almost one of those run the quarterback
Got
sneak
intentional grounding in the end zone for a safety.
Intentional grounding.
Holding by the offense is declined.
There was holding by the...
They're going to say that Samkon Gatto threw the ball forward to try to avoid the safety. So it's an illegal forward pass, intentional grounding.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter anyway because the holding was in the end zone also. That was declined because they got they had two holding penalties, well, one intentional grounding and a holding penalty in the end zone. So they should get 4 points, 2 safeties.
And this is a good call. Now Gatto, smartly, I mean, this can't hurt him.
I want to show you.
Yeah, he's already in the end zone. He's already going to be called for the safety, so why not try to get rid of it?
But look at how deep he is. He's 8 yards deep, 7 to 8 yards deep in the end zone, trying to run the football. I just think that particular play. Boy, a lot of bad things can happen to you, and obviously one of them did.
And Tony Fisher, who was the lead blocker, came out of there and just totally whiffed on somebody. So Gatto never had a chance.
And now Detroit gets the ball back. That was unbelievable. And
so after that great goal line stand, then they give up the safety. That's got to be heartbreaking.
Well, here's the other thing. Detroit took and drove the ball against that defense, so they haven't really been on the bench resting very long. There's been 2 plays. One was a penalty. Actually, 2 were penalties. And all of a sudden now, Green Bay's defense has to go back on the field. Terrific job by Dick Duran's defense.
You know what? Everything happens on Sunday Night Football. You know why? How many times have we ever seen 2 penalties in the end zone? Both of them would have been called for safeties.
Now there's a very long discussion going on with Mike Carey and his crew.
Mike Sherman wants to challenge the call, and if my memory serves me correct regarding challenges, I don't believe that the call that's been made can be challenged.
Well, he can't challenge
the intentional grounding. No, he cannot. And that was the call that was made on the field.
You can't challenge holding.
You couldn't challenge holding either. So either one of the penalties can't be challenged. So I'm not sure what the basis would be.
I think
you could challenge scoring plays.
All the officials are meeting in the middle of the field to discuss this thing. Now there's a holding in the end zone. We have that one down. That's one. And then here's Gatto just throwing the ball out of the end zone. That is intentional grounding. Where were they thinking maybe the only thing you can even think about is was he in the grasp in the end zone? But that
wouldn't matter. Anyway. Then it's a safety anyway.
Anyway.
They've broken the huddle. And now he's going to come over and talk to Mike Sherman.
The officials broke the huddle when they're at the line of scrimmage.
I think they're going to tell him you're going to lose this 3 ways. So
do you want to give up a timeout on this? Because you can't challenge. First of all, he's going to tell him you can't challenge any of it.
you certainly can't put that on Samkin Gatto not trying to do something cute in the end zone. That was just a play where he had no chance to get out.
That was heads up.
I really was. If he gets
away
away with it, they have the ball on the 1. Unfortunately, if the Lions jumped on it, they'd have the ball on the 1-yard line. Another mini huddle. Dick Duran's got to be wondering, they're over on that Green Bay Packers sideline huddling. Okay, now we're going to go over the other side, and let's go visit with Coach Duran just to make him feel like he's not left out.
Yo, boys, there's a semi-freeze here. Yo.
The runner who threw the ball was out of the pocket. At that time, he was a passer, and he had a pass that got to the line of scrimmage while he's out of the pocket. That's a legal pass. However, there was a holding by number 65, half the distance to the goal. There was no safety. They retained possession.
Well, now,
how about that? Now, what the ruling is, here's the difference. The holding call was ruled not to be in the end zone. So if the holding does not occur in the end zone, it's not an automatic safety. How about that? And Dick Duran is going to go crazy. Mark Tauscher is the right tackle.
Mark Tauscher is holding in the end zone, folks.
I think he's pinned him in the end zone.
I'm telling you, now if I were Detroit, now if you're going to call that, I would throw a flag.
Now here's the question. I don't believe, if you're Dick Duran, that you can challenge a penalty.
Second out.
Wow.
That is unbelievable.
What a smart move by Mike Sherman. Great knowledge of knowing that he's out of the tackle box, or he's out of what's considered the pocket. Therefore, if he throws the ball forward, it's considered a pass. How do you determine whether a running back is throwing the ball or fumbling the ball if the ball goes forward, guys?
It's intent. If the ball goes forward, it is going to be ruled a forward pass and not a fumble if that's your intention.
So anytime you're behind the line of scrimmage and you look like you're going to get tackled, you just throw the ball forward. It's an incomplete pass.
That's correct.
Okay. I ought to send him back to the booth this summer. Mike Pereira and his guys are going to figure this one out.
Yeah, this might appear before the competition committee somewhere.
I'll tell you, a great call by the defense. They declined the penalty.
And they did, and there is no challenge charged to Green Bay or to the Lions. Now Gatto will get out near the 4-yard line. What a bizarre sequence.
I'm telling you, there was holding. Tauscher was holding in the end zone.
Well, Paul, let's look at it this way. The ball was on the half-yard line. That means the offensive linemen are lined up in the end zone. So there's no way that it was, and obviously we saw by the pictures, there was no way that he was on the other side of the goal line.
Well, it's a huge break for Green Bay, at least temporarily. It would have been 2 points, and they would have had to give the ball up on the free kick. Far from the end zone. Still can't find anybody. Now goes to his tight end in the flat, and the Packers are going to get a first down. Holy cow.
You want to know why he's the greatest? This ball was a play-action pass to be thrown deep. Favre saw the double coverage on the outside. He sat there in his own end zone. Watch him sit in this end zone. You talk about patience and guts. He sits there. He's going to throw deep. He can't. There's double coverage. So what does he do? Let me just come back to the other side, and I'll throw it to Martin. Pick up the first down.
Boy, that's huge. Gets Green Bay out of the shadow of their own goalpost. Now Gatto off the left side. Nice cut. Gets him 5 more yards. The ball comes out, but he was down.
What a great cut this one is. That's the thing you look for in running it. How fast can a running back change direction and keep going? We've seen LaDainian Tomlinson do it so often. Now, is he on the ground, or is this going to be a fumble? You have to check his right knee.
Oh, that's a fumble.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You can't challenge that.
If he's called down by contact, it can't be challenged, even though it's recovered by Green Bay.
That could have been a fumble.
That ball was coming out.
But you're right, once the down by contact ruling is made, the play's over. Gatto again. Now, Sam Khan had fumbled 3 times in 4 games, so that had been a problem for him. And he has just broken John Brockington's rookie record as a running back. Sam Khan Gatto with a tremendous performance.
7 yards a carry, this guy.
Not bad.
Wow.
These 2 drives have eaten up an enormous amount of time. We're down to 4:10 left in the game. Gatto on the draw. Not much. Gets it across to 30. Let's check in with Susan.
A night to remember for Sam Khan Gatto, who credits running back coach Edgar Bennett for all the success. He said not only is he his coach, they've become friends, and it's so much more than X and O. Edgar Bennett took him under his wing. He's really been more of a mentor than anything, has accommodated his deficiencies, he said. All his confidence has come from him, and now he's got the rookie records for this Packer organization to show for it.
Boy, you got to be happy for this kid. He's one of the nicest young men I've ever met.
He's got to come out and practice a Lambeau leap, though. He can do it.
Huge play here for the Packers, and Brett Favre.
Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty is still 3rd down.
Jumps right in the face of his rookie right guard, William Whitaker, and Favre was so upset with that mistake. On a huge play, 3rd and 7 late in the game.
We watch Favre here now. Look, he gets right. You know, you cannot make mistakes this late in the game. You can't make mistakes any time in the game.
Well, you have to think of the last time he yelled at a guard on this team.
Long time. Favre's sideline, is it a catch or not? It is. Ferguson.
No, they're waving it off. This is a job of officials working together.
The head linesman came over and ruled it a catch. 2 others came in and said no.
They said that the ball hit the ground before he made the catch.
The ball hit the ground during the catch. Or non-catch.
So the Packers will have to kick it away.
Yep, good call by the official.
And the Lions should have good field position.
Oh, great kick.
LaPorta's driven all the way back to the 24. And the Detroit Lions will have 3 minutes and 7 seconds to try to win this game in regulation.
Tonight on SportsCenter, Brett Favre explains why his NFL career is far from over.
Back in Green Bay with 3 minutes and 7 seconds to go in the game. This is a place the Lions haven't won since 1991. Dick Jauron, the interim head coach of the Detroit Lions, trying to pull it off tonight.
First thing he did when he took over as the head coach in an interim base was change a lot of the practice thing. He just wanted to change the environment. He felt like they weren't winning, they weren't doing things properly in his mind, and wanted to create a difference. And it looks like he has.
From the 32, Garcia trying to engineer a drive and throw it right into the hands of Williams. Had a slant. He might have taken that one all the way.
Boy, I'll tell you, he was going full speed when this ball hit him in the hands, and I don't know if anybody was going to stop him. This is the perfect pass. Hits him right in the gut with this ball.
Oh.
Watch this. If he catches it, he's full speed.
He takes his eyes off it. If you watch his head, just before the ball gets to his hands, he turns his head upfield to look for the defender.
That is 31 dropped passes for the Lions this year, 2nd worst in the NFL. Bryson trying to get to the outside, and he's whacked as he got to the corner. Mike Hawkins, a rookie corner out of Oklahoma, came up to hit him.
I hate to harp on it, but this goes back to what Dick Jauron said about this football team being able to finish. It's one of those plays where you have to make plays at clutch times. His head just comes up before he has a chance to get a hold of the ball.
That's a pass you have to catch and a pass you have to turn into points. 3rd and long. Incomplete, intended for Charles Rogers, the seldom used former #1 draft choice.
Charles Rogers had to be 12 feet tall in order to bring that ball down.
Well, now you're back in a situation where the Green Bay Packers have been in most of the season. Almost every one of their last 8 games has gone down to the 2-minute drill. And here they are again with an opportunity to be able to do something at the end of a ball game.
John, there's only one guy I know in the National Football League I don't want to give the ball back with 2 minutes left to go, and that's Favre.
What a move not to make a fair catch, and what courage. 9-yard return after a 35-yard punt. Antonio Chapman defying the odds to make that catch. Who won our Sunday stud? Was it Bledsoe, Brady, Rudy Johnson, Terry Glenn, or Marvin Harrison, all of whom had outstanding performances during the day? How did you vote on ESPN and NFL.com? 52% for Drew Bledsoe. And I tell you what, the guy can still throw the football. He made a couple of magnificent throws today.
And Terry Glenn had a great game today. What a big win that was for the Dallas Cowboys over the Chiefs today in Dallas.
Brett Favre once told us something that stuck with all of us. The only thing you have to do in a 2-minute drill is move the chains.
Or throw real deep for a touchdown.
That one is incomplete. Tried to hit Chapman in between the corner and the safety and just missed him.
Gosh, I love that call. You know you're going to have to throw the ball anyway, and you've got Brett Favre. What a great call by Tom Rossley. And Brett knows that he missed Antonio Chapman. Now, Antonio Chapman took a real pop on the last punt return, but I still don't think if he had been fresh just coming out after warm-ups, he'd have been able to catch up with that. That'll back up the secondary a little bit.
Tell you what, it'll open up that middle also.
Favre under pressure, and down he goes. Big Daddy came right up the middle. Sean Rogers, beside Wilkinson, grabbed him by the back of the jersey and spun him down. Is there magic left in Favre on 3rd and 16? Plays of the week.
Boy, some people took steps back. How about the Miami Dolphins going out to San Diego and beating them out there? And this is the big play right here. The middle of the football field might be an option. Matter of fact, I think it's the only option.
3rd and 16. And Favre has to save his own life at the 38-yard line.
All right, punt it away, you put your defense out there. You don't make a mistake. And I think Brett, if he had gotten outside, would have liked his receivers to break up, somebody to break up field.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't have much time because the pressure's on. He had to move in the pocket. And then again, there was nobody open downfield, so he did the smart thing.
He had no intention of throwing that out of the pocket. He was going to scramble around and give his guys a chance to get 16, 17 yards downfield. Well, anytime you're rushing guys out on a punt team, you better be careful.
Clock is running, 1:11 to go. Poor kick, McQuarters on the first bounce, and he's taken down at the 29-yard line with 1:02 to go. We'll check the marker.
Why did Detroit let the clock run?
During the return,
I don't know.
illegal block in the back on the receiving team, number 49. 10-yard penalty. They keep the ball. First down.
It ran forever, and they lost a lot of time. Now it's down to 1:02. The penalty will back them up even more.
All right, Paul, I got a question for you.
Yep.
Do you
I have the answer.
Do you run the clock out and play for overtime because you're backed up on your own 20? Or do you try and throw the ball and make some plays and get into Hanson's field goal range?
I moved the ball down the field. I mean,
I don't
won 4 games, and you know, just let's go for it. Let's move the ball in a position where you can kick a field goal. You've got an outstanding field goal kicker. I don't think Garcia ran out jumping up and down like that if he was going to just hand the ball off. Let her fly. Let it fly.
1:02 to go.
I don't agree.
I know you don't.
I don't agree with you.
Garcia may be changing the play. Toss to Pinner. Nowhere to go. Run out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
Wrong again.
Lions offense did pretty well in the first half, but the second half they have absolutely nothing. A punt, gave the ball over on downs at the goal line, and another punt. Of course, you could have put about 75 yards on there if Roy Williamson hung on to a pass. He would have run forever.
Well, that 11-play drive and all the yardage, they were down on the 1-yard line. Actually, inside the one, that went for it on 4th down and didn't make it.
And the Lions are going to be very conservative about this. Pinner again, he'll have a first down just across the 30, and the clock continues to run.
I think this is the smart move by the Detroit Lions. You're backed up too far with not enough time to be able to get it done.
Now they call a timeout with 44 seconds to go in the ballgame. We'll be back to Green Bay in a moment. Back in Green Bay, only 45 seconds to go in the ballgame. Jason Hanson hoping for an opportunity. He has missed one field goal in his career in Green Bay.
Here's Hanson in the pregame. I mean, he's got a great leg. 53 yards in pregame. Now again, that's in pregame now. There's nobody rushing you. And you haven't been freezing for 4 hours either.
Garcia under pressure, throws to the sideline, incomplete, intended for Scotty Vines, but wide of him.
Well, I've got this sort of amazes me sometimes. I mean, why didn't you come out, if you want to try and move the ball, you got it on 20, why didn't you try and move the ball, throwing it in the beginning instead of running basically 20 seconds off the clock, 25 seconds off the clock, and giving yourself some time, saved your time out with some pass plays, instead of looking like you want to run the clock out and then trying to throw it.
I said to go for it earlier, but I was 2 plays late, or 2 plays too early.
Well, you also have to question the plays they ran at the goal line when they didn't get a touchdown. Garcia short set, throws incomplete. Williams couldn't hang on, and Carroll with tremendous coverage from the corner.
Well,
and Garcia's really upset.
I'm sorry, Michael, but that was outstanding coverage.
Amon Carroll's given away 5 inches, but he's right in Roy Williams' hip pocket and makes it difficult for him to make the play.
Boy, he had him wrapped up pretty good. I'm surprised they didn't throw a flag.
Hey, Jeff Garcia is really throwing the ball well.
Yes, he is.
And I'm going to tell you what you do here. You got 3rd down and a lot. Green Bay still has 3 timeouts.
Draw play, Bryson. And they won't have to use one because Bryson runs out of bounds. Boy, is this mismanagement. These are just big mistakes by players.
Well, what it is I'm not sure whether it's mistakes by players or the players not understanding what the coach is asking for. In other words, everybody should know you're either going to run the clock out or you're going to make them use a timeout and stay in bounds. I mean, is it coaching? Is it players not knowing? Don't know the answers in Detroit. It's like one big question mark there.
Chapman makes the fair catch signal at the 26-yard line with 25 seconds left to go in the ballgame. Go back to Brett Favre's first playoff win. It was against the Detroit Lions in 1993, a wild card game. And Brett Favre, at his best, scrambles, then throws back across his body to Sterling Sharp. A 40-yard touchdown. The ball must have gone 70 to give the Packers a 28-24 win. And if it hadn't been born before, a legend was born in that game.
Well, the legend gets a chance to even add to it right here.
And he throws this one away.
Well, the defense has to be offside because the play continued.
Illegal shift on the offense. 2 men moving and didn't get set for 1 second before the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
See, here I think you can take if you want to do something, if you're the Packers, I think you can take a chance throwing the ball down the field deep. With only 20 seconds to go, they have 1 timeout. I think you can take a chance if you want to put it up deep.
Lions have 2 safeties very deep. Favre goes underneath to Martin.
Now everybody lets the clock run out.
And Mike Sherman wants a timeout with 9 seconds left.
Well, this is where you throw the ball and hope for a pass interference call is what you're looking for. Because there can't be any other reason why you would take a timeout.
I mean, you waited long enough to get your timeout called.
Well, Brett has the strongest arm
No, it's not that
I
strong.
can remember seeing, but the line of scrimmage is the 23.
He's going to drop back to probably the 15.
And now he's going to need a running start for this one.
No, even a running start. They could bring out the jug machine and set him up back there, and it's not going to go 85 yards.
No, the only thing they're really looking for is a pass interference penalty. I think. I mean, I just don't understand what else he would be looking at. If they take a timeout and run a draw play,
I think you kneel down and you go to overtime. And your defense has played very well. The Green Bay Packer defense, other than the first 3 series where they had their backs against the wall, have not really given Detroit much. Conversely, Detroit hasn't really given up much to the Packers either.
Ten seconds to go in the half.
Here it comes.
Threw it as far as he could, and now it's picked off.
Well, you got to score with it because
Dre Bly with the lateral. And the Lions get it back to the 34-yard line. Well, Brett threw it as far as he could.
That was a bizarre sequence by both teams at the end there.
Wasn't it, though?
Yeah, I mean, it's you had a lot more bad things could have happened with some of the calls that were made than good things. Now, Brett just lines up, steps up, buys the time, and then lets you know that he can throw the ball a country mile. And then Dre Bly goes up, who's had a heck of a year. I mean, just a darn good year. Now we turn it into a little bit of street ball and try and make something happen. Watch him load this thing. Yo! Goodbye.
You see him kick that left foot out?
Yeah. And then puts the wiggle back pedal on it.
The bad thing for Favre, this will go as his 22nd interception. You can't hang that one on him.
Mike Carey lost his coin. He's got to borrow a coin. Look, he does.
Froze to his pocket.
He's got to borrow a coin. Look,
All right, anybody got a
I'm
dime?
telling
All
you.
right, who has a dime?
He lost
Anybody
his,
got a dime?
He lost his coin. Hey, do me a favor. Go get me a quarter, will you? Mike? All right, here it is. Check this out. Pick a number between 1 and 10. They're asking the ball boy for some change.
Son, change for a quarter.
Anybody?
Does anybody have a
dime?
Anybody have any change? All right, here we go.
Hey.
Way to go, Mike.
I always keep a spare quarter.
This is cool.
Pay you back after the game.
Oh, this is priceless.
Oh, help me.
It's
To
Canadian.
break the tie, there will be 1 sudden death overtime period. Each team will have 2 timeouts, and fourth quarter rules will apply. Instant replay will be in charge of the replay official in the booth. What's your call? What's your heads or tails? Heads or tails? Heads. Let it hit the ground.
That's a tail.
Tails. Green Bay's won the toss. They'll receive. Okay, flip around.
Let's go to overtime at Lambeau. free football from Lambeau Field. The Lions and the Packers tied at 13. Green Bay will get the ball first.
How about an onside kick? Oh, wouldn't that be cool?
That would be cool.
Brett's record in overtime, 5-4.
Antonio Chapman, the deep man, waiting at about the 6. Hard to get him deep on a night like this, but a good kick by Hansen drives him back to the 3. Chapman just tripped up, got it all the way back to the 35-yard line.
Well, this has been a field position game all night between Detroit and Green Bay. The kickers have been very important, and they've delivered in most instances. But this is really where Brett Favre, I think, has made his mark. I also think this is where he misses an Ahman Green, who's been an excellent receiver out of the backfield, and a Javon Walker, who's made big plays.
Or Bubba Franks, who's out just tonight, but he's out. Tough to operate no matter how good you are without the people to complement your great talent. Right now, he doesn't have them. Favre on that roll, turns and throws. Driver got a hand on it, couldn't hold it. Great effort by Donald Driver.
You know, Donald Driver, when he runs this pattern, he started to come back towards Brett Favre because he saw Favre in trouble. And if he just goes deep, you see where he leveled it off? If he'd have gone deep the whole time, watch, he'll level it off right here. And then he comes back, then he goes deep. That one step, he has a reception during field goal range.
That's another one that was close for Brett.
Gatto on the toss. He's already had an enormous night. Picks up 3 here.
The big thing for Samken Gatto here is to be able to protect the ball. You mentioned it earlier, protect the ball. You mentioned it earlier, Mike. In the last 4 games, he's put the ball on the ground 3 times, so he's got to be conscious of protecting it.
Be another 3rd and long.
Somebody better cover William Henderson, number 33.
He's been big on 3rd downs, and there are the numbers on Gatto.
He always is.
Sure.
Donald Driver's in the slot. He'd be the guy that I would think that Brett would try and get the ball to.
4-man rush, dumps it off to Henderson, 1-on-1. Henderson trying for the 1st down, and he got it.
Well, you know, he's been doing it for years to this guy, and William Henderson has got tremendous hands, but it's what he does with the ball after he catches the ball. He knows where the 1st down marker is. What Henderson sets up, Favre just dumps it out. Now watch this. Stiff arm, that's another 4 yards and a 1st down.
William Henderson has carried the ball 1 time, and he has 24 receptions.
Yeah, that's right.
That ought to tell you something.
He knows how to play this game. Leach is in at fullback. Gatto trying to get to the outside. Very patient run. Samken Gatto just showed you.
And there's 15
why
more
he's
yards.
so smart. And there's a 15-yard personal foul penalty on Sean Rogers. How can he make that mistake in overtime?
Sean Rogers picked up, or looked like he picked up, Samken Gatto and just threw him back towards the bench.
After the player was out of bounds, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 92. From the end of the run, 15 yards, automatic. 1st down.
First of all, this is an outstanding run by Samken Gatto. Now watch this. Outside, what's number 92? You think he's strong? He picks him up and just throws him into the bench. The last time I ever saw anybody pick up a back and throw him was Reggie White, when he picked up a back and threw him at a quarterback. That is
just
stupid.
That's just dumb. You can't make a play like that.
Not just in overtime, in any time in the ball game, you are aware of where you are.
These are the mistakes that even outstanding players on losing teams make. This is why one of them is 4-8, and the other one is 2-10. They make too many mistakes.
This is what happens when you have undisciplined football players.
Yes, sir.
This is why I think I go back again to what Jaron said. Learning how to win. Those kind of mistakes do not allow you to win football games. You can't take personal fouls in an overtime period when a team has a chance to drive the ball.
So the Packers are down at the 35. Gatto, nothing. May have lost a half yard. Right now, they're looking at a 52, 53-yard field goal try. They got to get closer than this.
Here's Ryan Longwell in the pregame. Now look at this. 48 yards was his best, and it's also right down the pipe. So at that time, there was no wind, and there's no wind on the field now. So, you know, you got to get him
10 yards.
30. Yeah, well, yeah, to be realistic, get him inside the 30-yard line.
2nd and 10 for Green Bay. Complete to the sideline. That'll get him in field goal territory. A strike to Robert Ferguson, who was wide open.
Nice job of protection, too, by that offensive line. You don't think that Brett Favre loves this moment? He's all pumped up. Wonderful route. Robert Ferguson makes the break, does an excellent job against the zone that Detroit tried to throw up. And there he is. Brett's loving every minute of this. Boy, here we go.
Joe, he is not normally the guy that throws the ball a lot before guys start to make their breaks. That was a perfect pass.
But he just showed you he can.
Yes, sir. Gatto. Room to run on the right side.
And, son, if you've ever done anything in your life and you want to stay in professional football, hold on to that ball.
Well, this is where they've got those three big guys, Paulie. William Whitaker on the right side, Mark Tauscher, and Kevin Berry at the end. Number 71. Everything where the Packers are now was all set up by the penalty by Shaun Rogers.
And, you know, if he were being held, Shaun Rogers, there's absolutely no excuse for what he did. But if someone had taken a shot at him, you know, you might even think about it. But no, but he's making a tackle, and he's out of bounds. He can see the guys on his own bench.
You don't even think of it.
No, you don't. You're absolutely right. That is dumb.
2nd down, the Packers just trying to wear down the Lions, get better and better position. They're down to the 10.
Mike, you kick that thing now. You kick it on 3rd down, and I'll tell you why. Because if you make some kind of mistake, you've got another down. If they muff the snap,
I don't agree with that.
I know you don't.
No, I think you run it in, put it right in the middle of the football field.
You think it means that much to Longwell? It's about as far close to the middle as you're going to get, and you got 3rd down.
And maybe you pick up a 1st down here. I think you put it in the middle of the football field for him. Make it as easy as possible.
Well, it's not like the hash marks make a whole lot of difference in the NFL, is it?
I don't know. Having never done that.
Gatto off the right side. He gets just inside the 10. They need to make the 8 for the 1st down. So here comes Ryan Longwell with a chance to win it.
The only reason I say that, do it on 3rd down, because you're about as far as you're going to go anyway. And if for some reason or other you had a bad snap, you have another down.
Well, if it was cold, I would agree with you. But it's so nice tonight.
I'll tell you, I don't get cold, Mike. The only thing that happens to me, my nose runs a little bit.
It's gained 1,200 yards by itself tonight. 28-yard field goal try by Ryan Longwell.
This is to me interesting. You're gonna ice the guy who's been standing around since 7:30 in 22 or in 6-degree temperatures.
Shaun Rogers, I mean, this is just, I mean, it's not even a horrible mistake. It's just an absolutely totally stupid play. You pick up the guy, you know you're on your bench. Come on, what are you trying to prove? If you were in the middle of the field and you would have done that, there might have been a penalty for unnecessary roughness.
It was 1st and 10. It's now 2nd and 5. You've really done an excellent job against this offense all night. You give yourself a chance to be able to get field position.
And Paul, as you pointed out, it just came out of nowhere. It wasn't like a retaliation for a cheap shot or anything.
No, he's just making the tackle, and he ran the guy out of bounds. I mean, especially when you pass the coach, you already know you're on the sideline.
Here we go to win. Ryan Longwell in overtime at Lambeau. Good snap, good hold, good kick.
Good night.
They got one.
And the smile on Brett Favre says it all.
Boy, this is just concentration. Look at Longwell. He just makes sure he gets that ball high enough because he already had one block. That was easy.
Brett loves it. He won one. I'll tell you something. Whoever winds up being the head coach of the Detroit Lions, I think, is going to get one heck of a football team. And, of course, the Green Bay Packers finally break through and win one at the end. They've lost so many this year.
Sports Center comes up next for Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Susie Colbert, and our entire ESPN crew. This is Mike Patrick. Good night from Lambeau Field in Green Bay. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Thanks for watching, everybody.